welcome to episode 37 of Terror Vision Horror Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan McGuinness, and joining me, as always, on the Midnight Meat Train is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand. Toot toot. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. Ooh. We are recording on some new sound gear this week, so if there are any problems, we apologise, but hopefully it will be better from now on. So, So, fun fact. Straight into the fun facts, Jen. My fun fact for the week about myself is that I once grazed my knee so badly that it almost ended up killing me.
Okay, so only you could do that, but also tell me a story, Dan.
I was going from backwards kind of thing. When I went to the hospital, they said I was 2 minutes off of dying if I hadn't got there 2 minutes earlier.
Why?
All right, you ready?
Yes.
So it's a quick story. Basically, I grew up with a kidney disease called nephrotic syndrome, and it was a child disease, and I got out of it. I was in remission for years, and I got to around about 25 years old, and I hit the party scene. I partied heaps and stuff like that. Then I skateboarded, and basically every day for like a year, 2 years, I fell over and grazed my knee in the same spot. Every day, I had a graze and I knocked off the scab for like a year.
You need like a rest day between scabs.
Never. And then, over that time, and suddenly then the party of my life basically ran me down like really badly. So I had a really low immune system, and then I got blood poisoning from my knee, which then also shut down my kidneys again. And I was at home, and I was like, I didn't feel very good. Earlier in the night, went to bed, then in the middle of the night, I just woke up and went, oh, there's something wrong. There's something drastically wrong with me. I called my parents because I hadn't, I couldn't drive because I was too sick.
Yeah.
And then they drove down and they, went to take me to the hospital, and I just started vomiting, weird vomiting though, sick, and my dad's just like to my mum, go to the hospital, fucking run red lights, everything. My mum's like the most law-abiding citizen, and she's like, I don't know how to run a red light.
She's there. She's like fucking Ryan Gosling and she's just drifting corners and doing shit.
Yeah, she wasn't. And we eventually got to the hospital, and they took me into emergency, and I was like, the last thing I remember is going to the toilet, and I was vomiting, and I looked in the mirror, and I just didn't even look like me. I was all blue and fucked up, and I fainted.
Oh.
And then I woke up later in hospital, and the doctor was like, if he hadn't, it was such a full-on attack or whatever it is to do with my kidneys relapsing and the blood poisoning. They said 2 more minutes he would have died. And that's when my whole life changed.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I was a different person before that night. I was quite angry at the world and that, and I wasn't fun, and I wasn't as creative, and then I just snapped. Yeah. When you almost die. Everyone should nearly die once.
Yeah.
That's one of my mottos.
And now we have the Dan McGuinness that we know and love.
Exactly. And now I'm happy. Dying that close. Whew.
Yeah, all right. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
What did you do?
Well.
What's your fun fact for the week?
So
none of our facts are fun.
They aren't fun. So I got 3rd-degree sunburn on my year 8 school camp.
What did you? What sun? Where'd you go? Pluto?
No, so I grew up down south. So our year 8 school trip was down at an old Dinga caravan park, just by the beach. And basically, it was one of those. There was no sunscreen. A whole fucking day out in the sun on the beach, and then out in the sun back on the at the park at the pool. And by the end of the day, I was so burnt that I blistered and peeled that night. I ended up getting ridiculously sick. Everything in the end, it all kind of scabbed over. So I had all these scabs on my back, my shoulders. I still have scarring to this day.
Scarring?
Yep. Which is also why I don't tend to wear It's not like bad.
Are you the girl from The Craft?
I was going to say it's not Nev Campbell in The Craft bad, but it's so I just don't.
It's there.
It's there. So yeah, that was an issue. I got very sick. I had to take some time off of school, which was really bad for your first, year of high school.
True.
Because I couldn't wear a backpack, couldn't wear shirts, so I was just sitting at home waiting for it to get better.
Whoa, that's crazy. I have not done that ever. I mean, I got sunburn as a kid, and it peels and stuff like that. Did it hurt? Did you cry?
I
all
didn't
the time.
cry, but like I got real sick, so it's basically like
sunstroke.
heat stroke.
Yeah, do you know I get heat stroke every year? As
Really?
soon as the sun comes out the first couple of weeks, I have a day where I'm just in the sun, and then
Yep.
that day I come home and I'm like sick or I might vomit and I have to sleep like for a whole day.
Yeah, I'm essentially Elaine Bennis now when it comes to the sun. Like if I'm going outside, I'm in, long sleeve, or I've got sunscreen on, I've got a hat, or I just don't go out in the sun.
Just don't go in the sun.
No.
All right, so let's go straight into our
Spoiler
cast.
Yes.
So spoiler cast. Yes, every week Jennifer and I set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it scene by scene, spoiling the fuck out of the movie for all y'all.
Oh, y'all.
It's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, severed wangs, and compound fractures.
Fuck yeah.
We have a rating system. Jan, what is our rating system?
Yes.
That everyone's always carrier pigeoning me.
We're
That
getting
question.
some references now. I love it. So for those of you playing at home, our rating system is the A, awesome, everybody should watch. B is our beer and chicken wing group movie. F is for fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. We've got the U, which is underrated. G, good for its time, but is not held up. We've got the J for the Jen special. The D, Dan special. We've got a W, which is whatever, so off my radar. We've got the Kesha, which is a low-budget hot mess. And the McConaughey. The fucking fucked. Just don't watch it. Or just watch it right after we've spoiled it for you.
Do that. And this week we watched Idle Hands from
Yep.
1999. I had fond memories of this one. Like when you said,
Same.
"Oh, yeah, I used to have that on VHS. We used to watch it all the time."
Yep.
Uh,
My bootleg VHS too, yeah.
and I had a real one.
Yeah. Okay, I couldn't afford real
'cause
ones,
our-
okay?
No, I think our video shop would just sell stuff really cheap, and I
Yeah.
have to get it. Like,
That's great.
so what's its ins and outs?
All right.
It's short and curly.
So the short and curly. So the director, Rod Flender, who he got the job after two other directors pulled out,
Oh wow.
literally. He's not really done a lot. I think he directed Leprechaun 2, but has done a whole heap of TV.
Yuck.
So nothing that exciting. He is also the uncle of Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong. The Timothy Chalamet, the guy that all the ladies go crazy about. He's in the new June movie.
Oh, that guy.
He's not that. I don't know. I don't want to offend all the ladies out there. He ain't all that in a bag of potato chips. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Screenplay is by Terry Hughes and Ron Milbar, who really haven't done anything of like
That I know of, yeah.
Yeah, stars Devon Sawa, Seth Green, Jessica Alba, and Fred Willard, because it's Fred fucking Willard and he deserves a shout out.
Which one's Fred Willard?
He's the dad that dies.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And
Now.
what? Yeah.
Budget
Oh, yeah.
$25 million.
Seems like a lot of money for her.
Does seem like a lot of money. Box office, however, $4.2 million.
Ooh.
This was a fucking hard fail.
It's a bomber.
This is
It's a lemon of a film.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yep. It is very crazy. Which is so strange because it is a bit of a cult classic now. So a lot of people are,
Well, primarily it's a weed movie.
it is
Like a stoner
it's
movie.
a stoner movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slacker movie.
Slacker movie. I'll accept that.
Yep. So a little bit of fun fact for you for this film. Just a couple, just before we get into it. So this, the hand, obviously, for those of you who have not seen it, we'll get into that a little bit more. But the hand that appears throughout the film is played by Christopher Hart, who is a magician, and he also played Thing in the Addams Family movie.
Why would you need a certain hand, man? I don't.
I guess
It
he's
clearly-
got a nice hand. He's really good at
He did have long fingers.
dexterity,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
if you will. It's also filmed in the same neighborhood as Halloween.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yes. And the school gym where the dance is held, we will get there, is the same gym used for the high school gym in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie and Jawbreaker.
Is that a real gym?
It is a real gym.
It does look very school gym, like prom dance. Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyhow, let's get into it.
Yes.
Why not? Why not? Let's go straight into this movie.
All right. So here's your tagline, guys. The touching story of a boy in his right hand.
That's good.
It's great tagline. That is very quintessential prepubescent. Pubescent? I don't fucking know. Anyway, Anton is a cheerful but exceedingly non-ambitious 17-year-old stoner who lives to stay buzzed.
People who don't smoke weed talking about weed.
That's right. So he lives to stay buzzed, watch TV, and moon over Molly, the beautiful girl who lives next door. However, it turns out that the old cliche about idle hands being the devil's playground has a kernel of truth after all.
Ooh.
I love it. That's
So,
great.
opening. Overlaid, so we open with a montage of composited video, shots of blood, fire, text, scratchingly coming up on the screen, faces in blood, 90s bass horror music.
This was very 90s because I remember the House on Haunted Hill movie had a very similar.
Yeah, they all had that it's almost like they just channeled Trent Reznor.
Yes,
and made.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, it's just
Who is this?
it's Nine Inch Nails what they visually look like.
Yeah.
And not them actually what they look like, what their music would look like as film.
Yeah.
So, lots of quick editing, compositing, overlays, multipliers and stuff like that. Stuff that's quite easy to do now, but was quite hard to do back then. It still involved skill. Now it doesn't. Now you have a thing that just goes, we have the Trent Reznor filter, basically.
You can download that on your Google apps.
Yeah. So, and then you said, full 90s music. So this is, late 90s, as in 99, but it's basically a mid-90s movie because it's hard grasping that, there was all that, remember, Fresh Jive. Do you remember that brand?
Yes.
Fresh Jive, and they wear porn star T-shirts in it, that brand.
Yeah. You've got the big,
they're all loose-fitting clothes.
Yes, the super terrible, is it Jenko jeans?
Yeah, Jenko jeans, yeah. Stuff like, they don't actually wear them but just loose jeans.
Yeah.
It's the loose clothes. It's, the comfortable years of comfort years.
I kind of like to establish some of that comfort into some of today because I quite like comfort.
I don't.
Just need to embrace it. Yeah, but you look fine.
So it fades out after all that kind of stuff, and it fades back in with a shot of a house, and there's a pumpkin.
Yep.
As in a jack-o'-lantern, a Halloween pumpkin. Zooms down through the yard. We see stuff like reindeers.
Yeah.
It's like they just haven't taken any of their decorations in. This family.
They do discuss it in the next scene as well, but so it's this lovely pan up the walkway to this nice idyllic kind of suburban house. There's Halloween decorations. There's sort of reindeer decorations as well. In the window, we get a very American Gothic style mannequins.
As in the actual American Gothic painting.
Yes.
Yeah, the two farmers with the pitchforks. They've recreated that into a nativity scene with jack-o'-lanterns on their heads.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've got this nativity scene of Halloween mixed with a little bit of Christmas. It's they're just into it.
Yeah, they're very into it. And then from there it pans up into the second store into the bedroom.
Second story.
Second story.
The second shop.
Look, I'm fast paced here, Dan.
Yeah, you are. And then we cut to a couple, an older couple, going to bed. They're talking about decorations.
Yeah, so she's sort of talking. He's like, "Oh, I would like the decorations to look something like this." Of course, you get that quintessential flushing of the toilet. Him walking out, going, "We've just decorated for Halloween. You just want to start doing this for Christmas now?" Ugh. It's that end of the...
So we get the idea that the mum is kind of obsessed with decorating for holidays. And that's why it's all up.
She's pretty adorable too, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, they decide to go to sleep.
Yep.
They turn the light off. And then lo and behold, up on the ceiling is... So this is all pre-movie stuff.
Yeah.
Is written in... What's that stuff called?
Neon paint.
Neon paint. The glow-in-the-dark paint or whatever.
Yeah.
Written on the roof is, "I'm under the bed." And they go, they
Yeah.
turn on the light, and she's like, "Look to the husband, look under the bed." So he looks under. There's nothing under the bed.
No, he's like, it's just a prank. It's probably just Anton. She's like, "Oh no, Anton wouldn't do anything like that. Our sweet Anton."
And he's like, "Anton wouldn't, but he'd get out of the house. His house is on fire." So we're already establishing that Anton is lazy.
Yeah, I like this. He wouldn't scoot his butt because that is definite dad talk right there.
Scoot his butt, yeah.
Scoot his butt.
Like swearing without swearing. They hear a noise downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the mum's like, go check that out, whatever it is.
Yep.
So the dad gets his 90 on or whatever, dressing gown, and goes downstairs.
It's 90.
Yeah, and then we're left with the mum.
Yep.
It's like listening. We get a cat jump scare.
Yes.
Cat jumps onto the
Lovely bones.
bones of the cat.
Yes.
Jumps on the bed. We all get scared and stuff like that.
Yeah. So she's like, she's stroking the cat. She decides she's freaking out a little bit, so she's going to pull out her knitting. She's going to start knitting, and that's going to keep her a little bit calm.
Yeah.
Nope.
But then we hear from downstairs. From her perspective, we hear a dad something's happening downstairs.
Yeah.
So she then has to investigate herself because suddenly there's something, and she's yelling out to Anton like, Anton, there's no, you know.
So she calls upstairs, like pulls down the attic door
'Cause he
a
lives
little
in the
bit,
attic,
and
yeah.
just like, oh, Anton, no sounds. So she closes it back up. She heads downstairs, and then she starts chastising the husband because she'd asked him previously, had you blown out the candles and the jack-o'-lanterns in the window? He had not, so she's like,
You said you blow the cat
she said
to herself,
burn down the house, blows out the candles. She slips on some blood.
Yeah, that she's slips down, hands in the blood, like.
Yep.
So
Freaks the fuck out.
she yells for Anton again, but no kind of answer. And you're like, what are you doing, Anton, you turkey? And she runs back upstairs into the bedroom.
Yep.
She sits on the side of the bed. She grabs her, her dial. It's the 90s. They've got dialer phones in this. She grabs the phone to call the police, and suddenly the phone is ripped out of her hands and it's plonked onto the floor.
Yep.
She goes to reach for the phone, and then from under the bed comes a hand, grabs her hand, and pulls her complete. We get a kind of a bird's eye shot of her getting pulled under the bed.
Yep.
The bed kind of lifts up once and then slams down, and we get this massive splat of blood. Like a big crunched splat as well.
Yeah.
I thought that splat was really, really good.
Yeah.
Implying, and then I think we hear a bit of and then kind of from that splat shot, the camera pans up to the roof, back to the I'm under the bed, which was like, oh yeah, I get it, cool,
Yep.
cool.
It's smart.
It came around. So that opening, this is the opening of the film. I got a very trying to do a Scream opening vibe from this. You know, that kind of
bit.
That kind of bit that's kind of not to do with the story, but
it's like a cold open.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Cold open, yes. But yeah, and very, very horror. It's abiding by the rules of horror. You know what I mean? It's doing that kind of opening kill, the kill before the movie starts.
Yeah.
Just to introduce that there is killing in this film.
Sets the tone.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cuts to the next day. It's now morning. We've got some terrible music playing. I don't know.
90s.
It's like terrible 90s music.
It's like not punk and it's not pop. It's like an amalgamation of both.
Yeah, it's like weird American indie, I guess.
Yeah, generic indie.
Yeah. So we pan over Anton, played by Devon Sawa. He wakes up. He's got headphones on. He's listening.
So
to
you're
his
like,
headphones.
oh, that's why he didn't hear him, because he was sleeping with headphones on music, and he's like disgusted that he's like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, he's like, oh, what is this? He turns it off and then immediately puts on a Walkman and turns on the exact same song.
Yeah, he presses play and it's the same. And he's like,
in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this is good.
That makes no sense.
He's like, well, why am I listening to my nighttime Walkman when I should be listening to my daytime Walkman?
Yeah. So we're like, we realize why now he didn't come help, because he's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets up, he heads downstairs.
And goes about his morning.
Goes about his morning. So he's in, boxer shorts and just a plain grey skivvy. His asthma inhaler around his neck. And then, he walks past. He misses Bones in the corner licking some blood off the floor.
And then we're like, oh yeah. So this scene's implying that he, he's just
he's oblivious.
Yeah, he's oblivious to what's going on in his life. He sits down in front of the TV.
Yeah.
He gets his asthma inhaler.
Yeah, well, he goes to make a bowl of cereal.
Oh, he does that first.
And again, he's like, oh, there's no milk. So he lifts off his headphones. He's like, Mom, we're out of milk. And his dog's banging the, thing.
There's a dog there, yeah.
The wall, and he's, goes to feed the dog, and he's like, we're out of dog food. It just reminds me of Will Ferrell in Wedding Crashers, where he's like, Mom, the meatloaf.
Yeah, when you're younger, you just used to yell.
Yeah.
I don't yell anymore. If someone's even in the next room, I go over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a kid, I used to remember from one end of the house to the other going, Mom! Mom! And then she's like, what is it? And I'm like, I want some water! Yeah, but yeah, so he's never gotten out of that real little kid phase
Yeah.
of just yelling for his mum to do everything for him.
Yeah. So
And that's
yeah,
why she's like, he's an angel. Cause
that's exactly right. And I guess deep down, mums don't really want their little baby boys to grow up and
why would
not
they?
need them.
We're the
I don't
best.
know. So he's jumps on the couch. He's, scratching his balls with a fucking back scratcher. He's, clicked on the news, avoiding the fact that it's now like murder. That typical murder report, like teens have been killed.
Yeah, there's a killer in
on
the neighborhood.
Loose,
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even notice.
No, he doesn't notice.
No, he does notice. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, just goes about smoking some weed.
Which he's got his asthma inhaler, which is converted by like a pipe.
Yeah, I like that. That's a pretty good idea.
So and he keeps
Not
that around his
terrible
neck. Yeah. So then he realizes he's got no weed.
Yep.
He's like, fuck.
Every stoner's worst nightmare.
He's dry.
He's out of weed.
He's dry as fuck. So he calls. He goes on the phone. He gets on the dialer phone again. Rings someone, his mate, and he's like, "Yo, you're holding," and so so it's obviously his dealer or his friend, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm holding."
Yep.
And he's like, "Bring me some weed over," and they're like, "Come get it
I
yourself."
was like, this ain't Domino's, bitch.
Yeah, come get it yourself. So he's like, "Okay." So he comes out of his house. He walks, walks across the street. He doesn't even bother to get dressed. He's just
Nice. He's just put his mum's pink slippies on and a jacket because it's clearly chilly outside.
yeah. So he's just got a jacket, a grey t-shirt, boxer shorts, and his mum's pink slippers.
Yeah.
He's walking across the road, and so it's obviously in like one of those little tight communities. He knows
Yeah.
all the neighbours. There's a neighbour out working on his gigantic pickup,
It's fucking huge.
it's not a monster truck, but
No.
it's not far off of a monster
No,
truck.
I've put some wheels in it. Could be a monster truck.
Yeah, and he's like a metal dude.
Yeah.
He's a bit older than Anton. He's like listening to "Son of the Devil"
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly
But
what it
they're
is.
friends. He's like, "Yo, hey, nice outfit, man." And
He's like,
"Eh,
yep,
whatever."
keeps going.
So we're introduced to the metal dude,
Yeah.
who's later on, I think his name's Randy,
Randy, yep.
but we don't find that out yet.
No, so he walks a couple of the houses down and climbs through a basement window
Into
into
the dealer's house.
his dealer's house. So then we get Seth Green and the young dude from Mighty Ducks.
Which is so Seth Green's character is Mick.
Yep.
And the other dude, which is Penub.
Penub.
What does that mean? Is that something?
There is a reference, and I can't exactly put my finger on what the reference is, but yeah.
Yeah, they're not dealers. They're just stoner mates.
Yeah.
And they're hard 90ing these characters.
Yeah.
Seth Green has got dyed black hair.
Yes.
Which I did in the 90s.
Yes, we all did that in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, the pitch black hair.
Well, also, like, Seth Green's off of that really stint in Buffy as well, like, that's where I think Seth Green got a lot of his fame, was playing
the werewolf?
the werewolf in
Yeah,
Buffy. So he's just, like, in there, and this is between, like, Buffy and,
Scott Evil.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, from Austin Powers. He's got he's got a porn star T-shirt, that brand, not as in the brand porn star.
Yeah.
He's got the big jeans, the loose fucking the zip up hoodie.
Yeah, the big sweater.
They're looking the part, They're like the other dude is just kind of like, you have to see him to believe him. He's like one of those like football faced people.
He is, yeah.
He's like pig like football. Imagine a
almost.
football with a piggy nose,
Yeah.
an upturned nose.
He is super adorable, though.
Yeah, he is probably the
like
most endearing character in the whole film.
Endearing is the correct word, I would
Yeah.
say, yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, man, you're holding," and he goes like, "No, we got nothing." He goes, "You said you were holding." He goes, "I didn't say what I was holding," and he grabs his dick. Anyhow, his mates are dickheads. They're the stoners as well.
Yeah.
But they're still mates, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Well,
They have
they-
no weed.
They start talking about, if you combine nutmeg and oregano,
yeah.
I hear
I
that
heard
you
if you
can
combine
get...
nutmeg and oregano, you can get high. And I just basically taunting Anton, like,
Yeah.
just go,
Which is absolutely ridiculous. And then, of course, how many people after seeing this film tried smoking nutmeg and oregano? I certainly did not.
I have not. I did smoke though once, because we heard, me and my cousin, that you could smoke mallee root. Do you know the
sure.
mallee bush?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently if you get the roots and smoke them, they are hollow inside. We did that for a while.
Uh-huh.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
No.
Negatory.
I just smoke weed like a normal person.
Yeah, I was in Sejuna.
Yeah, there ain't nothing in Sejuna.
This is like early 90s Sejuna, and we were kids. Like, we didn't know what was going on.
No.
I think we found a packet of cigarettes once. It was the best day of our life.
What?
Um,
Oh, jeez.
I don't smoke, by the way. But
No.
yeah. Anyhow, Mick and Peanut talk a little bit about the local murders that have been happening. We're instilled that there's a murderer in the neighbourhood a little bit more.
And then Anton's pretty much like, what are you talking? He's like, don't you watch the news? He's like, no, I fucking hate that show.
Yeah, that was a good line. I thought
like,
that one.
okay, yeah.
Do you know what? Which was really funny. I kept like going like, I know that line really worked better than other lines, and I realised because there's a local Adelaide band called Horgasm.
Yep.
And they use heaps of samples out of this.
Oh.
So you know when you hear a sample in a film, it really affects you a bit weird.
Yes.
Just a whole bunch of them. About 3 of them. I was like, oh, they're samples. It's weird.
Okay.
Look 'em
also,
up.
I would
Horgasm.
like to check out this band.
Yeah, they're wicked.
Horgasm.
And then we get introduced suddenly. They're like, "Yo, Anton, your girlfriend's driving past." Then we're introduced to Jessica Alba, who plays Molly.
Mm-hmm.
She's riding past on a little scooter, and then, Anton's bedazzled with her or whatever. Bedazzled? But whatever. He's bewildered, but bejomped.
Boner.
Boned up.
Whatever.
And now he's looking at her, and then he sees that she drops off of her scooter. She drops her lyrics book in air quotes. Oh my god.
It's like a hard rolling of my eyes right now.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Mick's like, look, you love her. Go ask her to the dance. Like, go talk to her. Just say a fucking word. And Anton's like, what do you mean the school dance? It's like, well, if you'd bothered to show up, we've got a Halloween dance, but like curfew, blah 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 blah. Just fucking go talk to her.
And then he's like, "Are you guys going to dance?" He goes, "No. What do we look like losers?" As he is sniffing he puts his hand down his pants and sniffs. This is Seth Green sniffs his dick to see if it stinks.
The look on his face as he does it as well. It's like that, like.
Yeah, he's not doing it to be funny. Just like.
He's just gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it.
That was good. A dick joke. I'm always down for a bit of dick. But I've never really seen a stinking dick joke, apart from that Lonely Island song where they sing about how much his dick stinks.
Oh, God.
Molly and Anton. So Anton runs out
Yeah.
All right.
So Pnub's was pretty much like, do you want to borrow some pants there, Chief? And lends him a pair of pants and a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Anton crawls out the window, putting on his clothes, runs off, and then Pnub pulls out a bag of weed from down the side of the couch.
Yeah, and he goes, "I thought you were dry," or whatever. You thought you weren't holding.
Yeah.
He goes, "Apparently I was." So they've got some weed. They had weed the whole time because they're fuckheads.
Yep.
No, they actually do find it accidentally. It was just down the cushion couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Anton. He picks up Molly's book. Lyrics book. Lyrics book.
Yep.
Oh, man, this book is so 90s pathetic.
He's like opening it up. He's looking through it. We've got the cutouts from magazine, like
Dolly Doctor.
Dolly Doctor.
Cutouts. It's just crap. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I hate it.
I hate her whole character, actually.
I agree.
So he gets to the doorbell. He rings it. She answers the door. She answers the door in So I'm just going to say, this is the most problematic character for me.
Mm-hmm.
She is only in this film for I don't even know what, it's just I understand in horror films you have some boobs and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But she is the most overly sexualized
17-year-old
ridiculous character. Every scene she's in Hardy and she just her body language is she's like a nympho.
Yeah.
All she wants to do is just fuck.
Yeah.
She answers the door here in little short shorts, croppy top, and that's fine. You can sleep in that, but she was just on a motorbike.
Mm-hmm. She changed real quick.
Yeah, into evening wear, into sexy wear, and I was like, what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense. That actually is just a mistake, I think. And then she's not only how she holds herself, she's all lusty, like she's a prostitute working a corner on every scene. And I was just like, get fucked.
Well, look, maybe she drops her notebook a lot, and a lot of the neighborhood boys come and bring it back to her.
And this not just sound like me being a pedantic, wow, but it just hit me in the face, and it made me maybe it's just it's like what a teenage boy would write a girl to be like, because he doesn't know anything about girls. And this is supposed to be an adult writing this film.
Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is as well, we're getting older, Dan. We're getting older and we see these things.
We see these people with daughters, not fucks.
Yeah, this isn't appropriate. Wouldn't let my daughter leave the house in that. No.
Yeah. Anyhow, he coward runs.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to.
He just
gives her
like shoves the book at her and fucks off. It's great. I love it.
And then we get a hard cut to a new location to Beaver in Utah, in a prison. We see a nun walking with a policeman.
Yep.
She's the lady who played one of the Kill Bill, one of the lists.
She was the Black Mamba. No, she wasn't. She was... Wait, was she? It's Vivica A. Fox. She's in the opening sequence of Kill Bill. She's
the lady that the one that has the daughter.
Yeah.
That the bride says like if you ever have hard feelings, and now she's of age to actually do that, and Quentin Tarantino's not doing it apparently.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino.
It was I think I heard he's thinking of doing it, but not with the actress.
No, they want to use
someone else.
Xenia, I don't know, the girl from Spider-Man. The girl that played Mary Jane.
Her, yeah. Why? Just use the actual actress. Anyhow.
Yeah.
So we cut to there's this nun with the policeman. She's like, I'm here to see the inmate or whatever. Anyhow, she comes into the inmate. We see this guy with this shocked look. He's like a big bearded man in prisons. He's behind the bars. He's not moving. He's
He's in a trance, basically.
In a trance. And we look down and see his hand is all twisted up and broken. And she's like, shit, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then cut to her leaving the police station, and she's just ripping her nun costume off, which was just a costume. She was just making out she was a nun. She gets into a big old like camper van, Winnebago.
Yep.
And goes off.
Was she? First of all,
does she do? Is this where she does the
map
map thing?
We get this stupid fucking scene where she's got newspaper clippings all over the Winnebago.
Yeah, of like murders, and she's clearly following the murderer that we hear about talking about.
So she's like, oh, the murder. There was a murder in Boland, so she crosses that off on.
Yeah, she's got a map on the side of the Winnebago,
she's
so
like,
marks,
Beaver. She's crossing it off.
Marks that up.
She looks at it for a bit after like crossing off a couple more, and she's just like,
"Oh my god!"
Grabs a red texter and immediately draws a pentagram
between the kill sites.
That's what you would see. Also, it just I don't know where you got that from that, but okay, that's
but
fine.
There's no relevance either to this even being anything.
No, at no point does it kind of point to where Anton is that she's got to go there, but immediately she's kind of like, let's fucking haul ass because I got to go there now. That's
yeah. So we got some bad writing here. Bit of I was reading my notes. That's dumb.
It is dumb. Like, I mean, it's done in a lot of different films. It's done slightly better, but hey, look, this is a horror comedy. It's not even low budget. I can't even say it's low budget, but anyway.
Yeah, it's not low budget, and this is where it. I think I know where they spent a lot of their money. Not on their actors. So then we cut to Anton. He's coming home from shopping. He's done the two things he needed to do. He's got some dog food and the other thing that he yelled out for.
Milk.
That's all he's got.
I'd be thinking I'd probably need some snacks.
He's got a trolley, so he's one of those fuckheads that takes the trolleys home. I live in an area where every street has a trolley on it because everyone in my low socioeconomic area, they all take their trolleys home.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They just end up with trolleys, heaps of them. And then, he's one of them. He's taking the trolley home. It's all foggy and scary for no reason in the middle of the day.
It's not. Yes, it is the middle of the fucking day. Why is it foggy?
Well, he's trying to allude to the fact that it's scary because there's a curfew because there's a killer.
Yeah.
They keep saying there's a curfew as well. It doesn't really seem. Anyhow, Anton gets pushed over from the side, and it's two very young cops. Mm-hmm. And one of the cops is the actor from People Under the Stairs.
Yes.
It's it's the Roach.
Yeah.
The guy had his tongue cut off. So that actor, the other cop is just someone else. So they're two young idiot cops, and they both went to school with Anton. So they're like, they
got beef with him. They're like, why didn't you ever ask us to go smoke weed behind the gym? He's like, I don't know, because you're a couple of dorks.
Because you guys were dorks.
Yeah.
Dorks. I love dorks.
Let's bring that back.
Yeah, I know. So they hassle him because, they're basically older than him, and he was still paying them out in high school. So they've got beef with Anton. Mm-hmm. So they hassle him. They write him up a fine for littering.
Well, it's funny because Anton basically, he's like, are any of you guys holding? And he's like, what? You
He
just
goes,
asked a police officer for weed. He's like, I'm desperate.
Yeah, I'm just.
He's like, empty your fucking pockets.
He
So
goes, you
he's-
asshole!
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so angry
I
at him.
like that.
Yeah, well, he's a good actor, that guy. And they actually
He-
were dickhead
is.
cops. They hated them straight away. So they were just normal
Pretty much.
American
And
cops.
he's like, so he's emptying, they're like, empty out your pockets, mate. So he's like, these are,
You get-
joke's on you, these aren't even my pants.
Because they're not?
No.
I knew
So
that would work.
You know, he's pulled out some money, the cop pockets the money, and he pulls out a baggie, and he's like, oh, you can't, it's like an empty bag. He's like, smells like marijuana to me. He's like, well, you can't arrest me for an empty
possession
bag.
of a bag.
So he drops the bag and he's like, littering.
Maximum fine.
$200.
and then they fuck off, and
Yeah.
then we cut back to Anton at home, and he's rolling a joint out of the fine with a nutmeg
No,
and
and
oregano. Oregano? Is that how you say it?
I say oregano.
There's
People say oregano.
oregano. That's the other one.
You say it how you want to say it.
It's true. So he's rolling, he's drawing a big fat doobie from it. Big fat doobs.
Oops.
Pine needle.
Yeah. So he's hearing some strange sounds in the house.
First he smokes it.
Not yet.
Oh.
No, he hears some sounds and he turns off and he's looking around and all you can hear is like the dog next to him like just breathing. And he just quietly puts his hands over the dog's mouth to stop.
He ponks its nose.
It's like
bonk.
his nose.
That bit was funny. I thought that was
yes.
good. There's some really funny moments in this film.
There are. And, nothing's at it, so he just chucks the TV back on, lights up, he inhales hard on this.
Big old,
And
doesn't even just test it
immediately-
out.
No.
It's like muscle reflex, muscle memory. You just like,
Yeah. And immediately starts coughing and hacking up. He runs into the kitchen. He's like under the sink. He's like, putting water in his mouth. He sticks the dishwashing soap in his mouth as well.
Yeah,
Which he actually did. That scene was completely improvised by Devon Sawa, and it was real dish soap too. So that would have tasted.
I thought he was a good actor, actually.
good-
Out of like everyone is there. Actually, Seth, the main three actors were good.
Yeah.
Just heaps of stuff around them wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, that's the end of that kind of scene.
So he's there and he decides, well, I'm in the kitchen. I'm going to make a sandwich.
And he's watching
But
some.
he's not paying attention.
He's watching a hard '90s music film. Was that Rob Zombie? No, Rob Zombie's later.
Yeah.
But which is a very Rob Zombie-esque thing he's watching.
Yes.
It's kind of like a
So he's watching
90s metal.
But he pulls it. Yeah, it's very new metal.
New metal.
So he pulls out this massive knife, as no one is going to pull out a big fucking bread knife like that to make.
You
like,
don't know though, because he's a lazy stone. He just grabs the
That's
first thing.
true.
Because I remember doing dumb shit like that when I was a kid.
Yeah, Liz couldn't find a knife, so she used a spatula one time.
Exactly.
Well, that's fine.
So he pulls out. He's making this sandwich. He's watching TV, not paying attention to what he's doing. He pulls the knife out of the drawer, not noticing it's covered in blood, as in dried blood. He makes the sandwich. We see it's spread all over everything. He takes a bite of the sanger, sees the knife, and then realizes he's like, spits out the thing. He goes,
The killer's here.
Oh my god, the killer's in my house. Oh shit, the killer's in my house. Why would he think that straight away? Do you know what I would think? Oh, there's jam all over this. But anyhow, it doesn't matter.
No. So then as soon as he does that, he's like notices that Bones is on the floor.
The cat?
Little cat is eating an eyeball.
Playing with an eyeball, battering it around with its paw.
Yep.
And then, so that was that. And then he's like, whoa, which, instills it more. Then we cut to a scene of a hallway, which I thought this scene was really funny.
I fucking love it.
There's a shot of a hall. There's no one in it. And you just see the dog in a sitting position slide from around the corner because Anton's pushing the dog around the corner to go first.
Yes.
So it's a big, bloodhound dog.
I don't think he's a bloodhound, but
Big dog.
he's definitely he's just a big pooch. He's beautiful.
Big dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he pushes the dog around the corner sitting. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I was like...
It was really awkward because, the dog was sporting something that we didn't want the dog to sport during that time.
And then he's sneaking through the house with the dog, looking through the rooms,
Yeah, so he goes to the front door and
trying to get out of the house.
is immediately startled. So I think
You can see a shadow that there's someone on the other side of the door. So he freaks out.
he freaks out.
He
Up the stairs.
runs to up to his bedroom.
He runs into his parents' bedroom.
Yes, he does, because his parents is in the attic.
His room's in the attic.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
so
runs into his
up.
mum and dad's bedroom, hides in the bed. The dog comes under the covers as well.
They're just hiding there under the bed. That's great.
He gets startled by something. Oh, he goes to like grab the phone and he knocks, like, just reach his hand out, grabs the phone, knocks it off the counter, which startles him. So he comes out,
Yeah.
sees the
I'm
under
under
the bed, still on the roof from when his parents got killed, thinking it's for him.
Yep.
He like freaks out. He runs
Runs back down the stairs,
trips on an umbrella,
falls and hits into the American Gothic jack-o'-lantern.
like
which
nativity display.
they fall down. The jack-o'-lanterns break, and we revealed that it's his parents. Then they're dead. They're under there.
I thought that shot looked really cool.
It did.
Like when he falls down like in between them, so backwards. So they fall down, but onto their back. It's then as the pumpkins smash, revealing their heads, and he's in between them both, and he looks at each side. Like, Mum, Dad. Well, the mum's like missing an eye because the cat was eating the eye. I don't understand that. So we're just like, whoa, like, and it was just a great shot. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah, no, it was. I quite enjoyed that. Mick and Pnub come into the house.
Because they were the ones at the front door.
They were at the front door. So they come into the house and they completely disregard that there are corpses on the floor.
They didn't see it. They don't really disregard.
They focus. They're like, oh, I didn't think they could play this music video anymore.
Because the music clip's still going, and they start dancing like weirdos.
Some sexy lady. Oh, yeah, the dancing. I fucking loved it.
It's wicked 90s dancing.
Yes.
Like, so they're just there dancing in the room, like just going, yeah, fuck yeah, I love this film clip. It's so good.
Yeah.
Because they're the best characters in the whole film. Like, without them, this film is nothing, hey?
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
Anyway.
So I think, like, at one point, like, Mick also, as he realizes that...
He goes, hey, asshole, someone's killed my parents.
Yeah, and he, like, turns and knocks a bag of onion rings that were sat
they all
the
start
counter.
that. Suddenly Mick and Peanut realize that their parents are dead on the ground. Like, Peanut goes up and he's like, hello? To the parents and starts trying to give them CPR.
Mr. Tobias? Mrs. T?
Yeah.
Oh.
Then they suddenly, they see like a bag of ears. Okay, they knock over a bag of fast food.
It's like onion rings.
Yeah, because they mention earlier on that these two twins got murdered at like the local
the Safari Burger
at the local fast food place. They're like 2 ears, the twins.
Yeah,
so they're
two
like,
left ears too.
2 left ears.
Mick also finds a piece of fabric.
This is wicked. He goes like, "Hey, look, a clue." A clue?
So he finds it on the floor, and and then in the corner there's ant written in blood on the floor.
And he's like, "What?
So
were they killed by ants?"
It's like, please don't be stupid. Just the way he responded to that was just, please don't be stupid.
Yeah. So they realize like he suddenly sees Anton with a bit ripped out his t-shirt.
So he's like, goes to put the piece of fabric up against it, and he's like,
the killer was wearing your shirt.
that's the only logical thing. But at this point as well, we now realize that Anton has the neon glow-in-the-dark paint
on his hand,
which wasn't there before at any point throughout the movie.
And he's like, the killer was wearing me.
Yes.
I'm the killer.
I'm the killer.
Mick, they all kind of go into shock.
Mm-hmm.
Mick goes into the kitchen. He does that crap line. I'm going to call 911. What's the number again?
What's the number? Yep.
He goes into the kitchen and it cuts to Mick like, hi. He's called 911. Like, hi, there's something wrong with my friend. I think he smoked some nutmeg or something.
Yep.
Anton comes in, rips the
phone out.
Rips the phone out of the wall, and he's like, so his hand's kind of doing its own thing now.
Yeah, which I kind of felt that this scene was a little bit strange considering... Because Anton kind of knew what he was doing at this point, and he's like, nah, mate, you can't, and he got a little bit crazy with it. But then after this scene, he kind of goes on, and he's like, I can't control my hand, like, I'm trying to stop it, you gotta run, like, I love you, whereas in this scene, he's like, I'm in here to kill you.
Yeah, he was like, or maybe he was not, I think he was more going for the, like, this isn't me,
like
calm down.
Like, you need to calm down.
Yeah, and he didn't even know his hand was going to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, Mick starts backing away from Anton. He kind of, opens the fridge doors, between them, and he's like, hey, do you want a beer?
He's like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. And then Anton's hand grabs the beer bottle, smashes the beer bottle. Then we hear off-screen... Now, I got a massive problem with off-screen kills in this movie.
Yes, you do.
We hear it cuts to Peanut, and he's like, what's that sound?
Yeah.
We hear this kill, and then we have Mick walks into the living room to Peanut, and he's got the bottle sticking out of his head.
Yeah.
And he falls down dead onto the floor.
Yeah.
So we didn't even see it, and I'm like, get fucked.
No. I liked the bottle in the head look though.
I thought it could have had blood in it.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
There is moments throughout it. If you look, there's like it's either blood or beer like swishing around in it. So I don't know if they had the budget to
right
do
near the
it
end.
all
They
the
didn't
time.
though. You could see
Yeah,
this.
okay.
Maybe because it dried up or something.
Maybe.
Anyhow,
It's in his brain now.
yeah, true. And Anton comes in freaking out. He goes, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" He's got blood all over him and stuff like that. And he's like, "What the fuck's happening to me?"
Yeah.
Like, why is this happening? And then P-Nub, like, he fucking freaks out. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I'm just gonna
go."
Yeah. And then, like, basically, he's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then we cut, shot to Anton, and his hand's moving, like, exactly like in Evil Dead 2 when Ash's hand comes to life. That twitching back
We're now getting this, like...
twitching back and forward hand. He's, like, grabbing the wrist because it's, like, starting to move by itself.
Yeah.
And like, he jumps forward, his hand, stops P-Nub from leaving, and he's like, "Why are you doing this, Anton?" He goes, "It's not me."
Yeah.
P-Nub, they have a chase scene through the house. P-Nub runs down into the basement, and I was like, "There's no out that down there. Don't go down there."
Like, yep. So Anton, he's like, so he goes downstairs. He's like, "Anton, why are you doing this?" He's like, I'm sorry. Like, he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna." He's like, I'm gonna make a run for it. He's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Well, you gotta let me go."
Yeah, like, get out of the
way.
It's
fine. It's like, I can hold it a little bit longer. So P-Nub starts running back up the stairs. Anton, his hand, it grabs like a saw blade. A
circular saw blade off the wall.
And he frisbees it straight up. We think just as P-Nub's getting to the top of the stairs, you just hear this shrink.
Yeah, and then we see P-Nub stop, and we see the red line go around his neck and then his head. I didn't think this was the first kind of real gore we saw in the film. I think it was actually the weakest looking out of the whole film. I was like, it was very composited.
Yes.
As in, not CG, but composited is another one. Like, it was in the in-between of CG where they've green screened like a head and then like kind of had it and put it over the top of a stump and like, it looked okay.
Yeah.
But instantly I could tell.
It looked okay for 99.
Yeah. But later on, they really excel with their practical effects in this film.
So P-Nub's head goes rolling down the steps and just falls at Anton's feet.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it does that thing where it changes from a dummy head into like his actual face on the thing.
Yeah.
The head going down looks really good. Anton then freaks out. He's in shock. He's just killed all his friends and his family.
Yeah.
He kind of goes into like shock trance. Like he just kind of goes down and sits on the couch, fucking shock, can't do anything. He walks like into, a living room, like a center pole, just runs straight into it, like doesn't even care. Like he's in shock. He sits down and suddenly the hand grabs the remote control and starts turning on the TV and it starts putting on scary shows.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does that, but like.
And Anton, he's casually, very carefully, like takes the remote and changes
from his
it,
hand.
Put some cartoons on, some soothing cartoons, and then they have like this remote war.
He kind of puts the cartoons on and laughs to himself, like he's clearly losing his mind. Like,
but this scene was actually really good. So this is just
when he
Devon
throws the
Sawa
remote and his hand catches it. Yeah.
So he's just there doing this on his own, and it looked good. It was very well acted, I thought.
Yeah, so he's basically having a remote control TV war with his own hand, which was funny.
Yeah.
He finally wins and gets his TV show, and then the bloody cat walks up.
Bones.
And the hand grabs the cat by the tail, swings it around its head, ditches it out the window, and the cat like flies like 2 blocks.
It flies far.
We assume the cat is dead?
I don't think it is. I'm going to say it's not.
Yeah, I didn't like that because I don't like...
No.
In the early mid-90s, there was a lot of like joke animal cruelty in films.
I'm not a fan. I do not like animal cruelty. Anytime there is any kind of movie where there is an animal, I'm like...
I do like a cat, as I mentioned before, stuck to someone's face and running around.
This was kind of more humorous because it did have that puppet cat being thrown.
Yeah, it was clearly not real.
Yeah, so it was just, and it had that, that standard kind of thing. So I can forgive that.
It like cruises like across the skyline like E.T. in the bike. It lands in Molly's yard.
Conveniently lands in Molly's yard.
Yeah, so then Anton runs out to find Bones, the cat. He's like, Bones, where are you?
Yeah.
Because he freaks out because he loves his cat. He's looking... he's looking.
Anton's looking disheveled, so
He's got blood all over
blood
him.
all over him. He's starting to look a little bit dirty and like unkempt, and
All
so
this shit's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like he's still in his friend's pants and whatnot.
Yeah. He runs into the front yard to look for the cat, and then the hand makes him flips him over the thing and makes him press the doorbell.
Yeah.
Because the hand wants to find more victims to kill.
Yeah.
And he what does he do? He kind of falls back over the balcony and
Yeah.
she comes out and he's like, I'm just looking for my cat.
Yeah. So she answers the door and she's in her little shorty shorts, crop top and whatnot.
Hang on, maybe this is that scene. No,
Yeah.
she was always in. The
she?
first scene, was she in shorty short crop top?
No, I don't think she was. I think she was in her biker outfit.
Yeah, I got that
that's
completely wrong.
That's fine.
Sorry, movie.
We're okay. It doesn't
Sorry,
matter.
people listening. At first, she was dressed appropriately after writing.
Yeah.
She was in a spot. Now she's over-sexualized as fuck.
Yeah.
And she is dumb.
She invites him immediately.
She goes,
invites him into
"Ooh,
the house.
a dirty boy on my driveway." She starts being sexy.
Every woman's dream, a dirty boy on her
I've
driveway.
written in my thing, Molly comes out in the most ridiculous outfit. Molly is the worst character ever. She is super dumb and over-sexualized. Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm not a fan of the Alba. I know a lot of people rate her real high on the
I
sexy
think she's
level.
pretty. Because she's got baby face,
She
which
does
is
have baby
unfortunate.
face, yeah.
But
But
she's
she
just all like,
immediately-
why don't you? Oh, you read? You bought my lyric book back before. Why don't you come inside and I'll give you a reward? And she
Yeah.
basically just sexually harasses him. She basically just mounts him.
Yeah.
And
Well, so she invites him up and immediately not into just the living room, not into the kitchen. She brings him up to her bedroom.
and
They have this weird interaction and,
he starts hurting her. Because
Yeah.
the hand starts grabbing her and trying to
He
hurt her.
grabs her ass so hard.
Yeah.
She's just she thinks it's funny. She thinks it's very
Yeah, that's why he
amusing.
just sexually harasses her, basically. He grabs her ass for no reason. He's met her for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's like, ooh, that's bold of you. Not many men would do that. I'm like, oh my God, it is a little
Men,
kid riding a
you
girl.
are 17.
It's,
How many men? And I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know. Anyway.
oh my God, I
Yeah.
hated it so bad. He basically starts hurting her and then he ties up his own hand and she's like, you're kinky.
Yes,
and
they
I was
basically start making out. So they're going to fuck.
They do
They
fuck.
are going to fuck.
Because she
he
mentions
ties up
about
his hand.
a dirty boy banging her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, anyhow,
I
problematic.
guess I was a strange 17-year-old because this was not me in any way, shape, or form. I cannot relate to this character.
Yeah, neither can I. And then we cut to the nun lady who, the hunter lady I've just
Her
called her.
name's Debbie.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Debbie Lecure. Because when she arrives at the
Liquor.
prison, he's like, Sister Liquor. She's like, it's Liqueur.
Yeah. I don't know why she wouldn't use her real name, considering, but cool. We cut to her and she's just driving real fast. It's just I'm going to kick evil's ass. And cut back. That's all it was.
That's
It
it.
was just to show that she's on her way.
Yeah, Vivica needed a little bit more screen time, so we're just chucking that scene in.
And then we cut straight back to Anton and Molly in her room.
Yeah. Her parents come home,
Molly-
so she's like, fuck, you gotta get out.
Yeah, I don't think my parents would approve of a bloody dirty boy banging their daughter. And I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah, no.
I don't think anyone would approve of just anyone
I'd
just
kill
rock.
him and then I would kill her.
Yeah, she should have died there. Anyhow, they agree to go to the Halloween. She's like, you going to go to the Halloween dance? He's like, yeah, sure I am.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Sure.
agree to go to the Halloween dance together. And she goes, I'll meet you at your house on the day it is.
Yep.
Tomorrow night,
Yep.
tonight, or whenever it is.
That's fine.
Then we cut back to Anton. He's in his backyard. He's buried all the bodies. So he's sitting with a shovel. We haven't seen it. So he's buried his mum and dad. He's buried Mick and Peanut.
Yeah.
He says he's a little eulogy.
Yep.
He's a googly.
He's you googly.
Uh,
He's like, oh, Mick, Penub, all the times that we used to sit around, smoke weed, and watch TV. But then, of course, the other times where we would,
that's all we did.
I guess that's all we did.
Yeah. And then we hear suddenly, Anton!
Yeah.
Anton! And he's like, Mick? And he's like, he's underground. And he's like, get me out of here. And he goes, you're dead. He goes,
He's like, no, I'm not.
He goes, no, you hit me
Yeah.
pretty hard. I think I was just knocked out. And he's like, could be in his face. It's possible.
I like your logic.
Anyhow, the hand bursts out of the ground
Yeah.
and grabs him. And then we see he falls back, and we
Yeah.
see Mick rise from out of the grave. He's still got the bottle in his head.
Which
He looks
looked good as
yeah,
well.
he looks
like,
fucking
he
evil.
Was, yeah,
He's
was
undead
buried.
and stuff. Then we see also like the corpse of Peanut
Yeah.
sit up without with no head.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a stump, and it gets up, and he's like being surrounded by these undead evil zombies about to eat him, and he gets whacked in the head by the shovel which Peanut's corpse has. I
Yes.
think he just steps back as well, and Peanut's
He
head's in the
almost
ground. He's
steps
like,
on
"Hey,
his
watch
head.
it, man!"
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, rude.
He gets knocked out and he wakes up in his bed, similar to how we are introduced to him at the beginning of the film. And he's
"Oh,
like,
fuck!
he's
Thank
like,
God, it's
man,
all right."
that was a full on dream. And
He thinks it's all a dream.
yeah, because sure, his head wouldn't be throbbing or this, that, or the other. So he puts his headphones back on, heads back downstairs as if it was any other day. As he's walking down the stairs, you see Mick sitting on the couch in front of the TV.
We see from behind, yep.
Yeah, from behind, and he's just like, "Oh,
Dudes,
yes."
dude,
He
they had the
comes
most
out-
crazy dream that I killed, and then he reveals, he comes around, and it reveals that like, yeah, they're dead, they're
Yep.
undead. The corpse is sitting there without its head. Mick is there, he's got the bottle hanging out his head. Peanut's head is on the other couch, and he's throwing cheesy poofs.
Yeah, cheesy
Mick's
poofs
throwing
on-
cheesy poofs into his mouth,
Yeah,
and Anton fucking
and the body's in the kitchen trying to like do something.
yeah, like
Okay.
walking around like an idiot because it doesn't have a head. Yeah,
They talk about like, so he's like, "Well, but you're
he
dead."
freaks out at first thinking they're evil, but they're like,
Yeah.
dude, it's fine.
Yeah,
He
he's
goes,
like,
we were angry at first, but now we got over it
Yeah,
because they're
it's-
so lazy stoners that they don't even keep.
"That's right." And he talks a little bit. He's like, "Oh, you know, like
There was this light.
he's like, well, there was a light, but then we thought, fuck it. I mean,
He goes, are you back
it
from
was
hell? He goes, are you back
really
to?
far.
He goes, are you back from hell to kill me? He goes, we didn't go to hell. We're not bad.
He's
We're
like,
not
"We're just
good.
not
But we're not
but-"
bad.
Yeah.
He goes, there was this big light, and there was like this uncool music like Enya play.
It's like, you know, the chick singing, "Come to us,
Go to the light."
And then we thought, fuck it.
It was like really
It's like,
far.
really far.
It's like, they're stoning us, basically. They've become undead, staying on our realm just because it was too far to walk
Yeah.
to heaven.
That's fair.
I like that.
Yeah.
Which explains why these parents aren't alive. So and then they basically start staying at Anton's because they're like, you know, no one else's parents are dead. We're
Don't
gonna
be selfish, man.
yeah.
And then I think, so Anton's hand starts acting up and Mick's like, what's with the hand? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, my hand is just not obeying me. Like, it's weird. I think it's evil. Like,
Because I think it's possessed.
like, do you
by the
know
devil.
anything about Satan?
And they're like, no, but I know someone who does.
Ah.
Hard cut
Safari Burger.
to Safari Burger to the memorial of the two twins that died. And here we have Randy is there with his big pickup truck, the metal dude that we saw.
He's in his Quiet Riot shirt. With
He's
his
another problematic character, this
stick-on
guy.
tribal tattoos. He's just,
Fuck.
and he's a ginger, so it doesn't really help his case that much either.
And he looks like the son of like Ned and Stacy
Yes.
if they were gonna have a child.
Yes.
And he like
he's hunting.
yeah, he's basically a fucking
He is a
gross
predator.
He knows that, you know, at this memorial there's going to be vulnerable girls that are upset, and he hits on one of these girls.
Mhm.
I think she comes up later in the film. Is that the same girl?
I'm pretty certain it is the same girl.
Yeah, there's like a pretty girl crying, and they have there's some jokes. He basically hits on her going, oh, I know that you're like vulnerable. Maybe we should like go hang out. He's basically hitting on.
Let's
it's
go be vulnerable together.
It's heaps problematic, nowadays. Because this is the whole thing everyone's getting, you know, fucking cancelled for. This, like, things of just, like, being an absolute creep to sleep with women.
Mhm.
And this is supposed to be a character where, like, kind of like, he ends up being not a bad character.
No,
So we're just supposed to like this character.
we are. I
We're
think
supposed to go, right, cool, man, great idea.
Well, I think because he's got this whole metal mentality, and I feel that what they perceive metal people as being is like that kind of guy.
This is the 90s, though, in the time when, you know, people used to congratulate people for donkey punching girls and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, it's definitely in the time. So,
Yeah.
it just hasn't aged very well. Here's Tom the Crying Guy. And Anton blunders down the street.
Yeah.
You know, he's fighting with his hand, tripping over, like, basically blunder walking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, he walks up to Randy and he's like, you gotta tell me, you know.
Tell me everything you know about the devil. He
Yeah.
just blurts it out. He's like, tell me everything you know about the devil.
Which,
And, you know.
you got something to do with metal music or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the girl walks off and then he just Randy gets angry. Like, can't believe you cock blocked me.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
He just gets in his big ass truck and drives through the memorial.
Over all the flowers.
And everything. Through to the drive-through.
To get some burgers.
Which I also don't think his truck would fit through that.
I just don't think a metal dude would get burgers either. Well, they might.
Not the kind of burgers that he was ordering as well. Like the way he was doing it. He's like, oh, I'd like a strawberry safari shake and an apple pie.
Yeah. Anyhow, Anton runs into the burger place, runs out the back, finds a uniform.
Yeah, sticks the hat on.
He's doing this all blunderingly as well because his hand is making it hard to move around and stuff.
Well, not just that. He's now in the kitchen. So his hand is like very excited by the fact that there are knives
and deep fryers.
Yep, everything. And he's just like, nope.
Yeah, so he goes to the drive-thru and, like, you know, he orders these burgers and he goes, tell me everything you want to know about the devil.
Yeah, and he's like, Anton?
And he goes like, dude, it's just music, man. It's just like...
Yep.
He goes,
so he runs down and he's like, you know, I used to be like that. But then I started
but he says, my hand's doing things that I don't want it to do.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I used to be like that. I got to keep out of trouble, man.
Yeah, he's like, you know, that's why I work on the Ford.
Yeah, he goes, and that's what he says, idle's hands are the devil's playground.
Yep.
And he's like, keep myself busy.
Right. Keep busy. Great.
Then we have a cut to Anton on the couch at home.
Listening to Rob motherfucking Zombie.
Listening to Jen's band.
Yeah. Dragula's playing in the background. He's sitting on the couch knitting. With Mick and Pnub on either side of him.
Yeah.
Just kind of like looking at him judgy.
Yeah, knitting?
I love this scene.
Yeah, it was really funny. So then all of a sudden, you know, the young cops, because they're listening to this, like, music super loud.
Dragula is playing and it's so loud you can hear it in the street. So they rock up and they're like, this is where the noise complaints.
Yeah,
like,
the two young cops that he ran into
this
before.
is a device.
That hate him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they walk up, they spy through the window, and at this point, like, because Pnub's there and his head is upside down in his lap, and Mick, his eyes are closed.
Which is a full animatronic head.
Yes.
Which is wicked, which is where they spent their $25 million on. His head is great looking, because there's so many times in this film of that, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's an animatronic head. It's like remote control. Like,
it looked good.
Yeah. So this is where the practical effects, this is just shows that practical effects are still the fucking best, cat.
So they're like, oh, well, we need to bust in, like, Anton's the killer.
They look in the window and they see the two friends there and they think they're not moving because they're watching. They think they're corpses.
Yep.
And they're like, holy shit, Anton's the killer.
Yeah, we got to get the feds. He's like, nah. And take all the glory? Like, it's just Anton. Like, it's just him with two corpses. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, we just go in there.
Yeah, they want all the glory.
They want all the glory. So they bust on in there and, you know, they're like, Anton, you're the killer. Put your hands up. And Pnub's like, just says something and the cop freaks out and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, the Pnub's head, is this guy's, hey, chill out. He's like, oh, and he shoots him in the head. But he's like, ow, like in his forehead. Because that was another point where I was like, that looks really good. Because I think they actually shot that head.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, that looks wicked. And how did they do that? Like, but no, yeah.
It looked really good. And
Anton, he's still knitting the whole time. They're like, put down the knitting.
This whole time he's still knitting. And Mick's just like, just kill him. Just kill him.
Yeah, because he's a corpse. He doesn't care. He's like, nah, kill them.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't want to kill.
No, I can't. He's like, oh, it's like, if you don't kill them, they're going to put you in jail. And he's like, wait, yeah, jail. I want to go to jail. Yep, take me to jail.
Yeah, jail, cell, we put away. I can't hurt anyone. So he's like, arrest me. And they're like, put down the knitting needles. He's like, I can't.
He's like, I literally can't put them down. And they're like, put down the knitting needles. He's like, cuff me. And then
they got their guns out, like, pointed at him.
Yeah. Yeah, and just as one of the cops gets so close, and it's just like, it builds, it escalates, and Anton the hand rips out one of those needles and just shoves it straight through the cop's ear.
It also looked really good.
It looked great, because it goes through his ear, out of his other ear.
Yeah, how did they do that one? That was a good one, eh?
It looked good.
I'm still trying to... Maybe that was an animatronic head.
Maybe.
Anyhow, it looked really good. It looked better than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. So he goes, at this point, he's grabbed the taser out of his holster and tasers the other cop.
In the face.
In the face.
And tasers him until his face catches on fire. He does like the old...
Yeah. And it's just kind of like burning and popping and great. It looked really good. They both fall down. They're dead. And Mick and Penub are just like super impressed. They're kind of like, oh, yes. Very good. Slow clapping, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, cool. They're so, they don't care about murder anymore because they're murdered. They're undead. Dead. And so Anton freaks out.
He closes up all the house. He like shuts the door. He closes all the window and he's just like.
And he's like, he goes like, he decides to cut his hand off.
Yeah.
Because like that'll help. It's not on me anymore. I can't hurt anyone.
He's looking at his hand, he's just like, gets this idea and he goes off to the kitchen. And Mick kind of has this concern. He's like,
Get
your
head.
Get your head. And they follow him into the kitchen. They plop Penub's head down on the counter, which always looks great.
Because it's an animatronic head.
Always looks great. Anton has his hand in a bagel guillotine, which
I didn't
know they existed, but of course they fucking do. And he's like,
what does it do? Just cut open your bagel.
It cuts your bagels. But even Penub says, he's like, what are you going to do?
They don't even cut my bagels.
They don't even cut my bagels, man. And he's like, Anton, like, you know, Mick's like, Anton, you got to think about this. Like, what about your left hand? Like, if you cut off this hand, how are you going to cut off your left hand? He's like, no, the left hand's a keeper, you know. I light up, I change the mode, I relieve some tension.
Yeah, that one's not idle. That's the thing.
Yep. So then he slams down on the bagel. It does nothing.
Bends.
It just bends
nothing.
the thing. And he's like, grab the electric knife.
Yeah.
So Mick goes over, and this is my favorite thing in the film. And he walks over.
He turns it on and goes like, gets all excited.
He turns it on. He's like, look at me, I'm Leatherface. And as he's like racing out, he like obviously unplugs itself and it just turns off.
I'm like, and they're like, good one, Mick. I'm like, why don't you just plug it in closer?
Plug it back in.
Yeah, I know. You know, that didn't work. No. So then Anton gets a cleaver out of the drawer, which is right near him, which he probably should have started with. And he goes to cleaver down on his hand, and of course his hand moves.
Yeah.
And then there's this back and forward scene of him trying to clear off his hand. His hand's moving around like a fast spider on the... his hand's still attached to his arm.
Yeah, and Mick just turns and he's like, you missed.
Yeah, after all that. Anyhow, Peanut's head, he grabs his hand, he's like, Peanut, bite down on this. So he gets Peanut to bite down on his arm with his severed head on the thing, and then you see, you know, like a down onto it.
Yeah.
Anton chops off his hand. We don't see it.
No.
It's another off-screen thing, but we do see the stump splurting out blood everywhere, and like, you know, he's yelling, and like Peanut's like, oh, you skim like a girl.
Yep. Mick runs off. He brings in an iron which has clearly been sitting there this whole time on, because immediately cauterizes the wound. He sticks the iron onto the bloody stump.
Yeah, that actually sickened me a bit.
And he's just like, we've got to stop the bleeding, man. Like, you know, and I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, then Peanut and Mick, like, we got to go get some bandages from Peanut's house and some antiseptic or whatever, and they leave. And then Anton's sitting there like,
he's relaxed
and
a little
suddenly
bit.
he realizes, where's the hand?
Yeah.
And he looks on the ground, and scratched in the ground in blood is bad move, Anton, which didn't have a comma, which means it's just like, which is just like,
oh, that's what you're going to pull apart?
Yeah, bad moon, Anton. Anyhow.
So Anton, he grabs a cleaver and he starts
searching his own house.
He's cautiously...
He's got a plastic bag around his hand.
It's like a Target bag. I love it.
It's a Target bag with a rubber band around it, so they didn't have to... Obviously, he's, you know, for the effects, they can just have his hand behind his back in the jacket and stuff like that. Yeah, it's fine. The doorbell
rings. Doorbell rings. It's Molly. She's there in an angel costume, because of course she is, which is basically like a nightgown. So a very short, white... negligee with a halo headband on her head.
Yeah, it's basically...
Yeah.
I'm a sexy angel. I'm a naughty angel.
Yeah, she is a naughty angel. So there's this point, like, you know, Anton's like, don't come in, I'll be out in a minute, kind of thing. You know, he's still searching around, and there's blood's now dripping from the roof, and he's like, oh. And he looks up, the hand comes down, falls on his face. It's like crawling all over his face. So, I mean, as much as you say you don't need a hand person, this looks good.
Yeah, it
The
did.
hand through this looks really good. Meanwhile, she's banging on the door. She's starting to look like,
Anton,
you know,
I'm cold out
the
here.
side hip, the arms folded, the stompy foot. She's being a woman. Sorry, guys. You know, Anton grabs the hand. He puts it in the microwave, shoves it in the microwave.
He gremlins it.
Yeah, he gremlins it, and it looks good.
Yeah, it starts
It
popping,
starts-
squirting out the
starts to
fingers.
Bubble and little. So it's really good because little veins are clearly starting. Because I know that when I cut I cut the tip of my finger off, and it was just over this one particular little vein, and if I pressed down on it, it would just squirt out.
Oh, really?
Which was fucking hilarious. Which is exactly what this was doing while it was bubbling and pulsating before it inevitably exploded. Looked good.
It was great. It's great. So then Anton's, he's happy with that.
Yeah, he's just like, sucker.
So yeah, he decides to answer the door.
Yep.
And he's still dressed in all this whole time he's still dressed as a fast food employee.
Yep.
And he's got no hand, and he's just like, she's like, what are you dressed as? And he's like, a fast food employee that cut off his own hand? Duh.
She gives him the, well, I appreciate the detail, but I really don't like to be kept waiting. So if you needed more time, you should have called me.
I know, kill yourself.
Whinge.
Yeah, they walk off to the dance at the same time. Just afterwards, Mick and Peanut return with the bandages and stuff. And they're just like, oh, he's gone.
Yep.
They've
also come back with microwave burritos.
And we got microwave burritos. And then because Peanut's talking, he's holding his head the whole time, and he's like, Mick's like, I can't handle this. I got to fix this. So he gets the head, he gets a barbecue fork, those big giant forks that you use on barbecue, sticks that into the stump of the head, and he's like, hey, and then shoves the handle end down into the bloody stump of Peanut's body, attaching his head to the top.
It's well done as well because you're just hearing these
Yeah, I really like that, and because it's the animatronic heads as well. When he shoves it in there, it's like, ugh,
yeah.
And I rewound and looked at the face, and I'm like, if you pause it, you can see it, but how they do it is really good. So now, for the sake of to save money on effects and stuff like that, they've put his head onto his body.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And they're like,
cool.
That's fine.
And then they decide to make microwave burritos, and they go to the microwave, and it's all bloody. And it's like, ooh, gross. Maybe we should clean it. And Mick's like, yeah, maybe we should clean the whole fucking house.
Yes.
Idiot.
It's like, this isn't our problem.
Yeah.
That is a stock standard response. I'm pretty certain my brothers would have given that response at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
So they open the microwave, and
of
the
course,
hand immediately just comes flying out.
Because
the hand can fly now, apparently.
Well, the hand, it just has it has its own demonic physics.
Yep.
Well, it clearly does, because for some later on in the film, it's it's got weight and heaviness and can fight people, and but it's a hand.
Yeah.
It's got no density. Yep. Anyhow.
Anyway.
We let that go because it's demonic.
That's right. So then they just watch it fly out the window, and they kind of back to burritos in the microwave.
Yeah. Then we cut back to Anton and Molly. They're about to go into the dance.
Well, they're still down the road. They've not gotten that far down the road.
Yeah,
he's just he's all I got to go back home. I've left a huge mess. My parents are going to be home soon. If they find it, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
I'll meet you at the dance later.
He's like, I'll be there. She's like, you're not going to stand me up, are you? And he's like, no, baby, I'd never stand you up.
So he's worried about the hand in the microwave.
Back to the house. Mick's got the first burrito out of the microwave, and he's kind of looking at it, and he's like, no, you take the first one. He
wants to see how he's going to eat with it.
Yeah.
His head attached by a fork.
So, Pranav unwraps it, takes a bite, and he's just like, ah, shit, my mouth. It burns. He's like, okay. And immediately...
When he swallows,
he swallows, and it immediately starts coming out of his...
where his head's attached.
His
stump,
coming out from the cut in his neck. So I'm guessing it was a mixture of blood, because it just looked like tar, but it was clearly refried beans or something.
It was gross.
It was great. It looked good.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved
And then like Mick's like, I think I can help you with
He's
that.
like, I can help you with that.
So he goes over, finds out like conveniently there's a giant thing of gaffer tape just like in arm's reach of him.
Yeah.
He tapes it around his head and he's like, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now they really don't even have to have the cutting effect. They've just got a bit of tape around his neck.
Right.
But they've still got effects on them. Like they're undead. They've got like veins all
Yeah.
coming out. They're looking like they're, decomposing a bit,
Yeah, and they're dirty. They've been in the ground, so they're not like just
Yeah,
clean.
their eyes are all like got blood all around the edges of them and stuff. Like, yeah, so they still look good, but that was a way where they're just like, we can't keep doing these effects all day. And I reckon that might have been put in afterwards. Like, as in, like, that's all doing it. Like, let's just tape it up.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Um,
Yeah, Anton comes running into the house and he's just like, no, don't open the microwave. And just as Mick's opening it up, he's like, dude, I'm sorry, we only had 2 burritos.
yeah.
And he's like, the hand was in there, you fucking idiots.
And at this point, they're starting to feel a bit underappreciated.
Yeah.
Because like Anton is just freaking out and blaming them and getting angry because he's like, under so much pressure and stress. And
Yeah.
and they're just like stoners, like, when there's an actual problem happening, they're just like, chill out, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, to
Cool
be
it.
fair, like, they came walking in and they're like, Anton, we've got first aid kit, we've got antiseptic, we've got bandages, it's the ouch-free kind.
Yeah.
It's like they're clearly being thoughtful people,
Yeah.
but they're just idiots.
Yeah. They're just stoners.
I love it. They're adorable.
And then we after they have that argument, we get a quick shot of cut to the hand just walking along the road.
Yeah, the hand is now walking along the. It's not flying, it's walking.
I think that it wasn't flying at first. It was just a flying leap.
Sure. Yep.
The hand's like, on the road again, like cruising down the road. He's all right. He's fine.
Making my way downtown.
And then we cut to Randy at the bowling alley. And do you know what I got from this scene?
Nothing.
Randy really does a lot of things. It's like he has a full. He's out in the community. He's bowling. He's fixing up his car. He's going to memorials. He's not just a dude who he doesn't just drink and like he said. He goes, I used to be like that, but now
He's doing things.
Yeah, as I
he's
said,
keeping busy.
Yeah, he's out bowling with his friends.
Yep. Who are in high school?
Are they?
Well, they are because they're going to the dance.
Oh yeah.
So this is like an unnecessary scene, but also slightly necessary to set up a scene that also is kind of not necessary.
Those are the necessary scenes. We see these two of Randy's friends, unnamed characters, doesn't matter. So it's a guy and a girl, another metal pair. They're like, oh, dude, we got to go get a costume for the dance. They leave.
Yeah.
So he's by himself. He goes, who am I going to bowl with? He sees Hunter lady. Debbie. For some reason, she's at the bowling alley. She's checking out everyone's hands and maybe to see, she's looking for the devil hand. And he's just like, hey, baby.
Yeah.
He basically hits on her. She's like, sure, I'll take,
Yeah.
I'll take the bait.
She's kind of into it.
She's like, she likes his forwardness, and she's a hard-ass demon killer. So, she tells him exactly why. She goes like, what are you doing in town? She goes, you really want to know? And she actually just tells him, and he's like, he goes, whoa, weird. My friend Anton said his hand was doing things he didn't want it to do. And she goes, fucking take me to him now. And that's how she gets on the track of Anton.
He calls her kitten a lot, which is so strange.
Whoa, slow down, kitten.
Ease up there, kitten.
Yeah,
This guy was freaked.
You freaked. Some weird. Anyhow.
Yeah, so she's like, I've got the one thing that can fucking stop this. Let's go.
She relays her whole mission to him. She goes, I have the secret dagger.
So
it has
I
to be done
come from like a long line of druid things.
Druids, they always mentioned.
Yep.
He goes, we got 3 hours. Is that now? No, that was later.
That was a little bit later. Yeah.
So they're like, take me to him. So now we know that she is a demon hunter. She has a sacrificial dagger to kill this evil, etc., etc. It actually it was almost. I think it was trying to piss take that whole person coming in and helping the helper, but they didn't quite do it funny enough.
No, it didn't. I think because Vivica A. Fox is she did the job okay, but I don't foresee her as someone who is a little bit goofy. Like I feel that this film's a little bit more comedic, and she was still playing the role very serious.
She's very action movie,
which is why she's in that
Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Kill Bill. Randy and the hunter lady, I've just called her hunter lady.
That's fine.
They get in his big truck and they drive. No, they get in her van and they drive to Anton's.
Yeah.
That's the end of that scene. Then we cut back to Mick and P-Nub and Anton. I was going to call them the gang because
Yeah.
I can't be bothered saying them. They go to the dance because they're after. They somehow realise now.
Well, Anton's outside and he somehow moves a tree branch to reveal "She's Mine" written in blood on the fence.
Yeah, so now they know
So he's
that.
like, now we got to go to the dance.
Yeah, now they know that the hand is after Molly.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason. Fine,
Yeah.
whatever, fine. It gives them a reason to go to the dance. The gang runs outside. They run into Randy's truck.
Yep.
His big ass truck. As Randy and the Demon Lady are rocking up, and he's like, "That's them there. They're still in my truck."
Yeah.
Like, she goes, "I'm gonna go out and talk to them." He goes, "Don't let them steal my truck."
Yeah.
And yeah, they get in the truck. They basically reverse straight out without looking and hit straight into her, but they don't notice that. They
Yeah.
knock her out.
They're like, what was that? I don't know.
Who cares? Yeah, because they're stoners. They don't care.
She flies so fucking far.
Yeah, it would have killed her.
No. Yeah. Something like that would have. Yeah, anyway.
And then,
that's the end of
yeah.
it.
And
we get this really weird, problematic Randy moment.
No, that's later. First, it cuts to after that. They drive off, and it cuts to Randy's friends.
Does it?
I think. Wait up.
No. So he goes to give her.
Mouth
so
to
he's
mouth.
there. He goes to her, and he's like, he just does this weird like.
He looks both ways of
Looks
who's watching.
around.
I'm gonna do something dastardly.
But he just gives her mouth to mouth. Like if he was gonna grab a titty or something like that, then he'd be looking around. But he gives her mouth to mouth. It's not.
I think he just is such a doofus that he sees the idea of like giving mouth to mouth as like making out with her.
Yeah, like he's keen for whatever he's doing.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway.
So then
Now
we
we've got
cut
the
to
couple.
Randy's friends making out in a car before the dance.
Yeah. The car's getting all foggy. They've got their kiss makeup on, so
And then you see the hand crawl down the windscreen like a huntsman's do. When
Yes.
I remember being at drive-ins and huntsman's like trapping us in the car.
Yeah.
In the hand, they wind down the window because supposedly they're hot.
Yeah,
you know,
she's
the
like,
hand,
"Oh, I'm sweating off my makeup. Wind down the window." So he winds down the window.
the hand crawls into the window.
Of
They
course
don't
it
notice. She gets her fucking jugs out, her uddocks, and
Yeah.
gratuitous boob shot. She
This is
clearly
it.
I'll show tits.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of look fake. Not that I'm judging. Like, if you want to have, if you want fake boobs, like you have fake boobs. They're lovely boobs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I have
she
an
had no
appreciation.
name, but she had. How's being in a film when you don't have a name, but you have your tits out? I'm like, kind of, ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyhow, the boyfriend's like eating her out and
Yeah.
then grabbing her boobs, but then the hand comes up as well and starts grabbing her boobs.
So now there's like 3 hands
Grabbing her
grabbing
two
some,
boobs.
some titties.
Yeah, she looks down.
She looks down, she screams. She sees the hand, she screams. It immediately grabs her neck,
Breaks her
and it just
neck.
starts like crushing until she snaps her neck.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how this gets like the force and pressure,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
The hand then grabs the other dude.
Yeah, it kind of like it cuts out from outside the car. He goes to, and we see him getting like smashed from inside the car.
Yeah.
Blood splats on the windscreen, kind of thing. Kind of like an off-screen kill.
Yeah. So then the gang rocks
This is
up.
outside the dance.
Yes.
It's not in the driving.
This is in the gymnasium car park.
Yeah, because I mentioned driving before. That was just me in a drive-in. It wasn't in the drive-in. Anton, Mick, Peanut, the whole gang, they rock up out the front and they see, like, the carnage of these two.
Yeah.
I think, like, Peanut goes, "Oh, what a waste." He goes, "What, you knew him?" "No, I was talking about that tail."
Yeah,
I'm like,
He's-
gross. More
Yeah.
bit of misogyny.
Yeah. Just they're teenage boys. All they can think
anyway.
about is ass.
That's true. Cut to the dance. We
Yeah.
have Offspring
Yes.
playing a Ramones song.
Yes.
I can't understand.
Well, they did to be fair, like, because they're playing the I Want to Be Sedated song. But that was also, they had done, I think that year there was a release and it was a tribute to the Ramones album. So, like, a lot of different bands did
Oh,
some
yeah.
Ramones
Was that their
songs.
song?
That was the song, yeah.
Anyhow, the Offspring, the band,
Yes.
frontman Dexter Holland, I think
Yes.
that's his name.
Yep.
I actually remember that from my memory. I didn't look that up.
Yep.
They're playing on the stage. There's like, there's like a million people dancing.
Yeah.
Molly and her friend, which was previously the girl that was crying at the
I'm
funeral.
pretty certain it is.
Molly's dressed as an angel. The friend's dressed as a devil. They're dancing. Molly is totally inappropriately dancing. She's sexy dancing to punk music.
She's in her own fucking world. Like, this is Molly's world, and we all just seem to exist around her. And
Well,
her
she's so pretty that she's probably...
unique dancing, her unique indie.
We're supposed to
quirky
like
dancing.
her, but she's playing the girl who lives in her own world because she's so pretty. Everyone does what she says and that. And I'm like, why would anyone like her? Like, but,
No.
oh, yeah. So that, anyhow, Peanut and Mick
Yep.
go into the dance and they're like, dude, we're probably going to win best costume. 'Cause, like, and there's like, chicks dig winners.
Yep.
This is Peanut. This is Peanut, but he's always endearing. He's kind of cool the whole way
I
through.
love him.
And he, straight away he talks to the devil girl and she's
Yeah.
like, great costume. He goes, yeah, Anton made it for us.
Yeah. He's like, based on my designs.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to get a little bit in. She's
Anyway,
like,
she shines onto him,
Yeah.
like, because he's got confidence. He's finally come out of the house. He's not a stoner. He's not, like, smoking the weed. And, like, he goes off with her and starts dancing and having a fun time at the prom. Meanwhile, Mix doesn't want a bar of it.
no, he's
He kind of tries to hit on girls, but he does it so shit, and they just like, fuck off, cunt.
get the fuck out. Yeah.
Anyhow, that's happening. Then we cut to the principal's office. So the principal, it's at night time now, the principal's in his office, and he is calling a sex line.
Uh-huh. He's complaining because his credit card's not working for the sex line. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't need that in there.
This-
Didn't...
Nope.
The hand, he gets onto his, like, sex line. He's sex talking to her. He's like, oh, yeah, I can feel you. We see the hand run up his trouser leg, and he goes, oh, I actually can feel you.
Yeah.
Hand bursts out of his, like,
His pants.
flies.
Yeah.
And then yell off-screen kill again.
Yeah.
Don't see what happens to that guy.
I'm
And
so
I'm like, come on, guys. And I've got a feeling they were having monetary problems, considering how much this film was costing. It
Yeah.
costed. I reckon they were running low on a budget.
Quite possibly, yeah. And it's not like they had any, at this point, it was not big names. So, like, Devon Sawa was kind of, this was him as he was about to leave Hollywood. Because he left for a bit, he stopped acting. And this was, like, his way of getting out of that, like, pretty boy leading man kind of thing. Because it wasn't him.
Yep.
Anyway.
Randy and the hunter lady, Debbie, whatever her name is, they rock up to the dance.
Yeah, they're hot in the heels.
They're hot in the hill. They're close by. Then, like, so they kind of go inside, and the hunter lady, runs into Anton in the school halls because he's looking for the hand still. He's, like, checking all the holes and shit. And then she basically says, like, oh, thank God you're here. And she goes, like, I know how to stop it. And then she basically pulls out a dagger and goes, you have to die.
Immediately.
The host of evil must die. So her solution is to
Just kill him.
kill him.
So they rumble. So
They-
they have, like, a bit of a fight. And, like, Randy's offside. He's like, whoa, this is...
Yeah.
He's enjoying himself.
Yeah, at first he's like,
Um,
yeah, kick his ass. And then he realizes he's trying to kill him. He's like, maybe it's a bit extreme, kitten.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And then
And then he's like, no.
it's like, I cut it off. I cut it off.
It's fine. She goes like, you fucking idiot.
You've let the
you've
evil
doomed us all.
free.
And this is where she gets he goes like, in 3, at midnight,
Yeah.
it's going to sacrifice it chooses a sacrifice, which is your girlfriend, and at midnight it's going to do it. It's 3 hours till midnight. It goes, not druid time.
She's like flips up her druid watch
Yeah.
to reveal that it's like in druid time.
5 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes
6
to
minutes.
midnight.
Yeah.
And he's
No,
like,
it's like, I think it was 6 minutes.
it was 6 minutes to
It's
midnight.
the song. It's like the whatever that Iron Maiden song is.
Yes, it's 6 minutes to midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So we also get this really cool sort of cutscene of the hand is in a classroom and it's like sharpening its fingers. So it's sharpening down the fingers to the bone. to
which
get
didn't
this
actually come
really-
into play ever again.
No, but that's fine. It still looked good.
Yeah, and also they the lady, the killer lady's going, he's gonna drag your girlfriend to hell.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is that it? Like, it's not gonna like unleash hell on the world or anything. It's just gonna
No,
and
it's
then
just-
disappear.
that's it.
If Molly dies, it's not the worst of
No.
the world.
No,
Anyhow.
Anton would probably be better off.
Everyone, all the characters now are all in the dance hall.
Yeah. So the Offspring's playing some more. Nub's now making out with the devil girl. And
And-
he's just like, oh, careful, it's kind of loose.
Yeah,
It's
my
like
head,
his
yeah, as in a joke.
Mick's
But
absolutely disgusted. He's like, you're dead. This is illegal.
yeah.
It's fine. You know,
Anton runs up onto stage with Offspring, pushes Dexter Holland over and goes like, basically gets on the mic, goes, "I chopped off my hand and still coming to kill you all."
It's like everybody needs to go home. You need to go home. So while he's having his crazy man speech, like the hand is locking doors and breaking locks off.
Yeah. Trapping everyone in the hole.
Trapping everyone in the hole.
Full Carrie style.
Yep.
And Dexter Holland like pushes him out. He goes, "Get out of here,
Get
kid!"
out of here, kid.
He goes, "It's time to rock it." And as he's about to start singing, the hand comes down,
Yeah.
grabs Dexter Holland by the hair and scalps him,
Oh,
like
it
pulls
looks
the top of his head off.
good.
It looks so good.
It
I'm like,
looks good.
on-screen kills, guys.
Yep.
Maybe that's your idea of how you
That's
make
right.
your film better. Yeah, so they obviously know what they're doing with their gore. The people who worked on the gore in this film, like the animatronic heads, the corpses, like all the practical effects are great.
Mm.
And I think that's what everyone remembers in this film and the stoner humor. That's why
Yes.
everyone's like, "I love that film."
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you remember. It's like, oh, what are the two things you remember about Idle Hands?
Seth
Like,
Green and the violence.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Of course, now this has happened. Like, Dexter Holland's now dead, and then we get
the crowd panics.
chaos. Carrie style chaos. Everyone's like running over each other. They're trying to get out. Randy's been knocked to the floor. You know, Penub and Mick are just sort of sitting at a table, like unfazed by all of this.
No, they kind of get a bit disheveled by it because he was like, "Man, I'm
Yeah,
scoring
he was. But
shit."
he's like, I was gonna score. I was gonna get lucky. He's like, no.
Yeah. So they're actually just there. They're not even like, they're just sitting down with a glass of punch at a
Yeah.
table, and everyone's running around.
Yeah.
The hand does stuff like it drops some lights on some people, some rigging from the roof, kills a
Yeah.
couple of people. And then Molly and her friend,
Yes.
the devil girl who had a name, I don't know, I just call her the friend,
I think it was Tony or Tonya. Tonya. It's Tonya.
Tonya. They jump into an air vent
Yeah.
to try and get out, and they're crawling through the air ducts.
Yeah. She's like, "You want to stay out here and die, or do you want to go in here?" I'm like,
Yep. But unfortunately, the hand follows them into the air duct.
Mhm.
And then they like Molly and this is a Molly and friend scene.
Yep.
Molly and friend come to an opening out of the air duct. It's like a big on the floor. There's like a big fan, like a big giant metal fan.
This is a huge, like, okay, so the vents
Exhaust
are
fan.
massive. And then this industrial fan is also seemingly, we're in a high
Let-
school gym. Is it?
Maybe there's
That
some
seems excessive.
lots of sweaty boys in there.
Well, this is
You know, they're stinky winkies. Those kids. Maybe you need an industrial like child de-stinker.
Maybe.
Anyhow, it's fine. We know that this thing is going to come into play. It's a gigantic metal fan. Like,
Yeah. We're trapped. The devil girl, Tonya, she starts freaking out. She's like, "We're going to die in here." She's like, "No, we're not. We're not going to die in here. Give me your shoe."
Molly suddenly becomes resourceful,
Uh-huh.
wedges the girl's shoe into the fan, which momentarily stops it. It's like she grabs the devil girl's whip, ties it up through the fan, and she, Indiana Jones is down through the fan into the hallways of.
Yep.
Because this fan was just straight into the hallway, like this gigantic fan. Like, anyhow, devil girl's still freaking up there. Does this keep going here? Like,
Yeah, so we then get a cut of Pnub and Mick. They are now in the vents for some reason. They're talking about, I don't know why they're in the vents. There is no need.
yeah, they don't even see them go in there.
No, so they're just in the vents. And
I think there was a scene that maybe got cut.
I feel that there was a lot of deleted scenes. So they're just sort of talking, and they hear, I think, Mick, his bottle gets stuck on a thing. So he's like, oh, this is
awkward.
awkward. So his bottle's like stuck between a little like crack in the.
They pop him out. It was
yeah.
not really in there for any reason.
No, and then they hear screaming, and he's like, "That's Tonya. Let's go rescue her." So then they go off towards the fan to where Tonya and fucking Molly
Meanwhile,
are.
Tonya's in there still, and she's like, "Come down." She's like, "I can't
Like,
come
"I
down."
can't, it's
Anyhow,
too far."
for some reason, the rope gets lifted up,
Yeah,
and she's like,
Molly's
"Why'd you pull
"Why
the
are
rope
you
up?"
lifting
She
the
goes,
rope?"
"I didn't." And then suddenly she gets pushed down. The rope's suddenly in a noose,
Yep.
and now Tonya, Devil Girl, is hanging by her neck,
Yeah.
like with the rope through the thing. And then the dastardly hand pulls out the shoe, starting the fan again, which rips Tonya back up into the fan and splats her. Once again, off-screen kill. We just see like Molly's reaction with blood hit her, and that's the end.
Yep.
Then we cut back to Peanut and Mick in the vents. They come to that room, and it is caked in Tonya.
Yep.
And she's everywhere, like blood everywhere. There's gore. There's bits of her costume hanging down, and then he's like, and then Peanut's shattered. He's like, man, I was gonna get some, and he goes, well, you still can get a piece.
Yeah, he's
like if you want a
piece,
want to go back and get a piece of her, and like so that's the whole scene was done for that joke.
Yep. Molly goes to walk into the art room and is immediately knocked out.
Yeah,
She just gets smashed in the back of her head with a
vase.
A vase or something. I
From
didn't even see it. Did it drop on her?
It dropped on her head. So
Yeah.
obviously the hand is above. Waiting for her to go into that room doesn't make sense. Who cares? This film's not making any sense. It really it kind of jumps the shark at the end of this film. Apart from some scenes are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anton comes into the art room and he's looking for Molly. So he's like, Molly, where are you? Like, what's going on? We get this puppet. This little
So in the art room,
white puppet.
Yeah, everyone's made puppets, obviously, in art class, and then we see this puppet like look around.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, the puppet's possessed. Anton.
No, the hand's in the puppet.
Yeah.
It's not possessed.
It's possessed by the hand of the puppet.
I wouldn't call that possessed.
So Anton.
I don't possess puppets when I put my hands in them.
Yes, you do.
Oh dear.
So they start. They have a bit of a rumble. He's like attacks the puppet.
Yeah, and then it's turned into like it's not a hand anymore. They're just like fuck it. Let's just not do the effect anymore. Let's just have him fighting a puppet.
Yeah, it's clearly more expensive to have this magician on set doing the hand movements or whatever.
And because he's got his hand cut off, Anton has access to a free arm in the effect. So when the puppet's just attacking, it's just him with the puppet on attacking himself because he's already got a fake arm. So it's this puppet. He's fighting this puppet. It's like a funny looking puppet. It's got like an evil mouth. For some reason, its eyes move and stuff.
So the puppet changes at some point as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No. So now we've got this weird. I don't even know how to describe this puppet, but it's odd looking. It's comical.
It looks like one of the what's that Office comic? It's about offices and stuff.
Dilbert?
Yeah, it's like a Dilbert character or something like that.
Yes, it is. It kind of looks like a baby Dilbert.
Yeah.
And he's fighting with this puppet, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous fight.
He traps it. So he traps it, but as he's trapped it in this puppet...
Like he traps it by like just putting his foot over the end. Yeah. Other times in this like thing, the thing can break people's necks and stuff, but it can't get out of a cloth puppet.
No, but it could burst out of someone's pants. So
yeah, so there's a lot of inconsistencies in the power of this hand.
That's right. Mick and Nub fall through the roof. Onto Anton.
Anton gets this big ashtray, and he's about to kill, smash, which wouldn't have killed it.
No. What's it going to do? It doesn't have a brain.
Yeah, and he was about to smash the hand, suddenly he gets knocked out by a vent cover.
Yeah.
Because Peanut and that are in the roof. They come down and the hand gets away. And he's like, you assholes, you got it away. You made it get away again. And they're like, fuck you, dickhead.
Yeah, they're kind of just like, we don't really appreciate the way that you've been speaking to us lately.
And then all of a sudden, they hear Molly screaming like, that's Molly.
Yeah.
They go to the garage. She's now in the shop garage, like the school's garage or something. And she is tied to a car.
Yes. She's tied to the roof of the car.
Tied to the roof of a car, which is on a hoist, a hydraulic hoist, which is slowly rising. And on the roof is painted a pentagram.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. So she's slowly getting risen up towards the pentagram, which I assume is just going to crush her and kill her. And that's the end? That's what the demon's goal is?
Yep. Sure.
Yeah, this was so tacked on, that bit. I thought it was stupid.
Anton tries to help her with his one hand, and she's kind of being raised on this lift at this point. He basically just rips her clothes off.
Yep, so she's in her underwear.
She's now in a bikini-ish underwear things. The puppet is controlling, it's not the hand, it's the puppet that's controlling this lift. It's got this evil face now.
Yeah, so the little puppet is grabbing this lever, which is like, for some reason he has to keep holding to lift up. Maybe you have to do that. I don't know with those hydraulic hoists. They have like all the gang come over and they're trying to beat, they're trying to pull the lever down, up.
Yeah. They're trying to get it. They're trying to stop the car from raising.
So they're like, I don't know why they just didn't hit it with something.
I don't know.
They can't win, and then suddenly Mick walks over and he sees this. I don't know why he does this.
I don't know, because it's covered. So he walks over and there's something covered, and he unveils to find what he refers to as Mighty Joe Bong.
Yeah, it's a giant bong made of an exhaust.
Yeah.
Exhaust from cars and exhaust pipes and all this shit. And he looks at it and he goes, those auto shop boys are true artists.
Yeah, and Pnub's just like, oh, I need my spinach.
Nah, I need some spinach.
for strength.
So they go, like, stop trying to pull down the lever while Anton still tries to pull down the lever and they're like, they're going to smoke a bong. And he's like, what are you guys doing? He goes, for strength, Anton.
Yeah, so meanwhile, like, they're smoking bongs, and she's screaming. He's
you're getting
trying to
high
do
with your
this.
friends?
Like, and then he just he figures it out, and he just jumps in.
Anton, yeah.
He takes a huge fucking, like, he's just inhaling.
He goes, now you're taking Anton time.
That's right.
And then, but he's doing it for a reason.
He blows it all into the puppet.
Yeah.
And then immediately the puppet turns around,
The smiley
has
face.
a smiley face, and its eyes roll back into its head, revealing that it's very red and bloodshot, and
Yeah, because
stabbed.
that happens.
Mm-hmm. The hand falls out. It falls out, and they're able to sort of rescue Molly at this point, and her face is pretty much smashed up against the roof.
Yeah, so they the lever goes off, and at this point, everyone, the lady Hunter comes in the room, Randy comes into the room, everyone in the the whole movie is in this garage. He's pulled Molly off.
Yeah, she's now off of the.
She's just standing in her underwear. Sure. Jessica Alba in her skimpies, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the hand suddenly jumps.
Yep.
And goes to who's it going to?
It goes to fly towards Anton and Molly because it's clearly got its sights set on Molly.
Yeah, and so it's in the air, slow motion, and then as I said, Randy and the Hunter lady. The Hunter lady throws the sacrificial dagger.
Yep.
It in slow motion hits the hand in the air, and then which pushes the hand back and gets stabbed into the chest of Mick, which doesn't hurt him because he's undead.
Yeah.
And it's like. Poof,
yeah.
And the Hunter lady's like, ooh, as in like, what have I done? She doesn't realize they're undead.
Yes.
Which never gets mentioned.
No.
And then the hand goes like, it's been stabbed by the sacrificial dagger, and it just goes, poof.
Yeah, it just does this.
Poof. And then like Mick's like, that's it? Like no explosions, no hellfire. Like I'm glad everyone's all right, but that was weak.
Yeah.
And I thought best line in the film
made me think of you straight away because I'm like, final boss battle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where but that was fine.
Yeah.
Because the film primarily is a horror comedy.
Yes.
And we didn't really care how the monster dies as long as it didn't turn into a big lumbering mess.
Yes.
Which is nice. It just goes poof. And that's it. And then the lady Hunter's like, well, now that's done. Time for the ritualistic sex. Yeah. Are you coming? Says to Randy. And he's like, yeah. And they just leave scene gone.
Done.
And I'm like, yeah, that was that. I mean, I've never seen a scene like that in a film for the end. Like, just like, and the character's like wanting it to be like because you're so used to like Freddy with light pissing out of him, explosions, hellfire, getting pulled, dragged into hell back. But it was just like, poof.
Yeah. I think the only other time I've seen it was in like an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where there's like demon was haunting a house and it was making everyone live out their fears. And when they finally were able to conjure the physical demon, it was like a couple of inches tall and they just kind of squished it.
It's kind of like how it ended for me when he turned into a little baby and then it's like, you're an idiot. And he's like, oh shit.
They basically bullied him to death.
They did, didn't they?
We will talk about that in an episode sometime.
Yeah. We can't do it though. It's too long.
We would have to do like a 4-part series.
I know. Anton comes over, pulls the dagger out of Mick and and then he cuts Molly down.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, he does.
So Molly wasn't standing there the whole time. Yeah, Molly, he uses the sacrificial dagger to cut Molly down. She kisses Anton straight away. They move for some reason. They're so They're so into their kissing fit that they stumble backwards underneath the hydraulic lifters. Mm-hmm. Mick and Peanut were like, dude, let's smoke some more weed. And what does he say? Like, once again, marijuana saves a boring day. Some line. But then they accidentally use their bong as they pick their bong up. They knock the lever at the exact time that Molly kind of pushes off of him.
Yeah.
To like pose. And then the car falls down onto Anton, crushing Anton.
Yes.
And then Mick goes, whoa, that came down way too fast. Like, that shouldn't have come down that fast. Like, actually just showing. I thought that was funny.
So at this point as well, like we hear a garage door still start raising, and we get this white light.
So Heaven is there for Anton, which gives, because Anton's a bit dead.
Yes.
Which gives, and like Mick and Peanut are like, you know what, fuck it, let's go to Heaven.
Yeah. So they grab their bong.
They grab their bong.
They head off towards the white light.
And they turn around.
They're like, you coming, Anton?
Yeah, you coming, Anton? It's showing that Anton's dead. Then fade to white.
Mm-hmm.
Good old white fade to white. It's always a great thing. It always is always used in Heaven.
Yeah.
But for the end Heaven thing, the fade to white.
Yes.
We cut to Anton and he's in hospital in a full body cast.
Yeah.
So he chose to not go with them.
Yeah.
Which would mean, if you want to get pedantic about it, he is undead.
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe it's because he didn't go into the thing at all. He stayed on. He came back to life.
Yeah, maybe.
But like going by the rules of this film, they didn't. But they went in and came back. So maybe that was the clincher.
Yeah.
Because they were in the hall with the Enya and all shit like that. And then like he's sitting in his body car. She's there. She's like, I can't believe you blew off Heaven to hang with me. And I'm like, yeah, I can't believe that either.
You'll break up with him in a week.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like,
he's got
you
one
are not going to
arm.
want to come and visit a guy in a full body cast.
And he's got one arm now.
Yeah, that's the
he
thing.
can't even double fist you anymore. What's the point of him?
Yeah, well, this is true. He's useless to her now.
Yeah. So, but then we see like from the ether, it opens up, and Mick and Peanut come out as angels. They're like, no one can see them because they're like, and they've come down and they're like, we're like guardian angels or some shit.
Yeah, we're here to keep you on the straight and narrow, just because this was a cautionary tale. So now we're just gonna here to like harass you into not becoming that guy again.
But they can't be bothered. And then like the nurse comes in and he's talking to them and they're like, ooh,
he's on some pretty mighty painkillers.
Yeah, like he probably should rest. And they're like, Mick and Peanut are like, dude, we're gonna go get some snacks.
Yeah. Well, at this point, the nurse sort of says to Molly, okay, visiting hours are over. So she leaves as well. So everybody leaves, just leaving Mick and Peanut to be like, we're going to go hit the snack machine.
Do you want anything?
Bring me back some crunch nuggets. I love those things.
Yeah, cool. And then so they leave, and then the light gets turned off. Anton looks up, and on the roof is like, I'm under the bed. He like screams, and then we cuts back to Mick and Peanut in the hallway going, think we should have like told him we wrote that? And he's like, no, fuck it.
And he's like, you're right. He does scream like a girl.
Yeah.
Let's go walk through a nurse.
Cut to credits, the end. And I'm like, So, final thoughts, Jen.
Final thoughts. Okay. I like this film. Like, it's still, yes, there is some problems with it. But it still holds up for me. I still enjoy it. I love how Anton started out in his boxer shorts and basically just kept adding layers. At no point did he get changed. It was just like, okay, now I've got some pants on. Now I've got a jacket on.
Yeah, had good continuity the whole way through.
Yeah, so this is fantastic.
Which is what they paid for with that 25 mil. A good continuitist.
Mick and Peanut are definitely the best part of this film. They are my favourite characters. Seth Green and everything is always just fantastic.
I really like him as an actor. I think he's funny in everything he's done. And even Robot Chicken is funny. Because that's him, isn't it?
Hilarious. Yes. Yes, it is.
Like, Scott Evil is one of the best characters. Like, as in, like, the idea of, like, he's just, like, that voice of reason. Of, like, why don't you just get a gun and shoot him?
Yeah. It's like,
like, you invite him to dinner?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Molly was really, like, unnecessary and pointless. I never really liked her anyway. I love the soundtrack. This fucking soundtrack's really, really good. Great.
Although, is it?
It is. It's my time. That was my time for some of the metal that was played throughout it. There's some Static X, The Living End on the soundtrack, Rob Zombie. I'm happy with it. It had so much more potential to be gore heavy. Yeah. And it just didn't.
Yeah, so my final thoughts are too many off-screen kills. Like with those if they'd been on-screen kills, I feel more people would remember this film a lot better. I thought 90% of the effects were excellent. It was just a couple at the start when they were doing compositing effects and stuff like that. Really, really good. Problematic characters. Molly was massive. I couldn't handle her. I even thought Randy was like a gross character, but that is of the time. Yes. Which is gross to think, hey?
Well, everything has changed so much from...
I know. Like, even me, how I think. Yeah. Like, it's like, I mean, people probably think I'm a pussy, but like, can just I've stepped back in my life and just seen it.
Well, that's
Like,
the
you know,
thing.
what it looks like, or the landscape. And it's like trying to understand what it's like to be growing up as a female is fucking terrifying. And I've always said that thing, like, I've always said one of the things I think is why there's so much homophobia in the world is that guys can't handle the idea of a guy that is going to treat them like they treat women.
Yep.
Like, that's like why they hate it, because they're like, oh man, like that dude's gonna do to me and think about me how I think about women, and that's why they hate them, and that's a problem.
Yes, it is.
Like,
It is very hard, and like even just like I'm a gay lady, so
Glady.
I'm a lady, so I got some stigma around me, and even I have to change and have changed how I think and approach many things, because so much has changed, and you got to grow with it. But yeah, so
Do you reckon some lesbians in the lesbian community, because I'm not in it and you're in it, obviously, actually purposely act like misogynistic men? But they act it to try and be that role? I don't know. Like,
look, I'm not
in the scene.
I'm not part of my gay community. Like, I am not in a scene. I'm not, like, I've got friends who are gay, but I'm not a flag waving kind of gay lady. Like, I'm not ashamed or anything, but I personally do not feel it's necessary for me to be like that. That's not who I am. But people act certain ways, and I've interacted with certain lesbians that are really toxic people, and it's like, if you were a dude, this would be a problem.
Is that toxic feminicity? Is that a thing? Is that a word?
Toxic femininity? I don't know. Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
I thought Mick and Peanut were awesome, best characters, and without them, this would have been nothing.
Yes, correct.
This film, like, all the humor was their scenes.
Correct.
Most of them, apart from the dog getting pushed into the into
that
the
was
hallway.
all the dog. That was nothing but dog.
It had a bunch of generally funny scenes. Like, like the dog getting pushed out, the holding the nose, everything that Peanut and Mick was in, every scene of them sniffing his dick. Like, all that kind of shit was hilarious. But mostly, I think I liked it. If you showed this to a millennial, I don't think they'd like it. I think we mostly like it, me and you, because of the nostalgia of growing up, being that age through the 90s and seeing the 90s.
Yep.
Which doesn't necessarily mean it's a good film.
No,
I think we were more nostalgic about the time period than the film. So what did you give it?
So I kind of like amended my rating a little bit. So I've given it a C for cult classic.
Ooh,
so it's
a cult classic is that's a big badge of honor.
I do
that's
feel that
in there with like the Texas Chainsaw.
Yep.
Evil Dead.
I've also given it a G. It is good for its time, but certain aspects have not held up.
I just gave it a G. It's good for its time, but it's not held up.
Yeah.
I don't think it held up because, like, if you show it to a person today that is not from that time period, they would just be like, ooh.
But I think if you're like,
that's the definition of not holding up. Holding.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel that a lot of people who are into horror can revisit this now, and yes, certain aspects of it are going to be like, well, I didn't like that part, or I didn't think that was appropriate, but the rest of it, they'd be like, that was pretty fun.
All right.
Anyway, Dan, what are we going to watch next week?
I've got my list here. I'm just going through it. I think I'm going to do Hellraiser 2.
Hellraiser 2.
Or, as it's more commonly known as Hellraiser Hellbound. Or known as just Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Do you remember this came out with the double VHS? It was like wide, but it was still just one tape?
Yep.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
So next week, Hellraiser 2. Hellbound.
I'm excited.
And I'm doing this because of the Clive Barker stuff that's been happening recently.
Yep.
I'm reading the Hellraiser novel at the moment, as in the new one. And also, TV shows, movies coming out. We should be well-versed into our Hellraiser-ness. We could have gone with Hellraiser 1, but I've seen it so many times. And I feel most people... I just feel like Hellraiser 2 has... It's problematic as well. Like, there's some things that aren't good, and I want to talk about them.
That's great. I love talking about that shit.
And it has some really good characters in it. It has mental asylums, which I love. It has. We will get into it.
Oh yeah.
So homework, people.
We'll get
Hellraiser 2 Hellbound.
Deep.
I don't know what year it's from, but we'll work that out
We will
later.
figure it out. It's fine. Not a problem. So, guys, you've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major streaming services and also on the YouTube.
The YouTube.
But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, and share with all your friends. We also have an Instagram at TerrorVisionPod, which will keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 3 years old by now. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, if you want us to discuss something, if you've got an issue with something that we've said, or anything like that. We also are on Facebook as well, guys. Same deal at TerrorVisionPod. Go over there. Let's interact a little bit more. Our opening and closing music is Void Swell by Sister Wife.
We actually have someone working on a new opening theme for us, so we're preaching copyright every episode. So yeah, we'll get onto that as soon as we can. Old Braden Dixon.
Yeah.
Podcast producer.
Braden.
He's working on one of them. I don't know when it will be done, but yeah, we'll get onto that. And also, if you want to check out my comic shop, you can check out Greenlight Comics at 18 Stevens Place in Adelaide, just off Rondell Mall, down the side of the Myer Centre. I work there. Other people work there. Jen works near there.
Mm-hmm.
You might see her just randomly in the street, or she
True.
might even be in my shop. Yeah, come down, check out some comics, graphic novels. We've got a horror section if you're into horror. There's a whole bunch of Clive Barker graphic novels. They're great. Well, I've got a bunch of them in at the moment. I think I've got The Great and Secret Show. I've got The Next Testament, it's called. And yeah, a bunch of them and some other horror stuff. Gideon Falls, read that. It's pretty good fun. And you know what? Until next week, may all your dreams be frightmares.